Hey, you know what's weird? I can't find
We're already live. What are you talking about? What are you gonna
instructions.
say? Huh?
Oh wait,
Yeah, go ahead and say what you're saying.
no, I was going to say that can't find the instructions that we received from the Israeli Ministry of Propaganda.
Oh, dang! Now you let the cat out of the bag. I tried to interrupt you so you wouldn't embarrass us.
Anyway,
Hey, now I don't even know where I was at in my intro. TikTok, Tom the Rock. Did I even say that yet? I don't remember. The
yes, you
whole
did.
day, the whole day is a blur. Yes, sorry, we were a little late, ladies and gentlemen. AP actually thinks that's his fault because he was running around and broke his headphones and then had to scramble around for some more, and then was running around. What he didn't know was that even if he had been totally ready, we would have been late because of me. Have two of my kids who were born in early May, plus it's Mother's Day. Genius that I am. We lumped all the parties together at one time today and then scheduled them for a little while ago. So I get to go down, make an appearance, sing happy birthday, eat a piece of cake, and oops, sorry, I got a live stream. I do not like parties. I do not like parties,
That's
but I'm a jerk. But you're a jerk. You're a jerk if you don't go to them and stuff. And so you have to go make an appearance, and then you say, "Oop, yeah, I've got a live stream."
based.
Powerful,
That's
super bass,
based.
super bass. Well, we got
I
a bunch of
just
topics. Oh, what's
I
up?
just told my little kid, my little 3-year-old, just said, "Hey, I'm leaving. See you later. See you tomorrow. Good night." And gave him a little kiss. And he's like, "Don't kiss my eyes. We don't kiss eyes." That's what he said. It's stuck in my head.
that sounds like Gollum. We don't kiss the eyes. Want to stab the eyes?
Eyes. Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
Then you had to tell him, sorry,
Yeah.
this is a Turkish thing. Just be glad that I don't follow Muhammad.
No, I told him. I looked at him and I said, listen to me, little boy. I decide what's happening here. I decide what is happening. I decide what we do and do not do. How dare you?
How
And
dare
then
you little weakling!
you'll be humiliated. You're finished, boy.
I
And then
actually
I came.
wonder, because Muslims take this following the pattern of Muhammad pretty seriously, usually, like to the point, like, oh, we have to step in the bathroom first with the left foot because that's what Muhammad did. And it's like, okay, Muhammad also sucked on little boys' tongues, and you guys defend it. You defend it by some means saying, oh, but that was this or that was that. Okay. So I always wonder if they're like, come here, grandson, I have to suck on your tongue because Muhammad did it, and there I have to follow his pattern of conduct. Freaking gross.
Time for sucking tongues again. Sorry.
Yeah, and then they have little songs. It's time to suck the tongue again, the tongue again, the tongue again. It's time to suck your tongue again all night long. Come here, little boy. What the heck is wrong with these dudes, man? All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we have a bunch of topics we're going to cover. Some of these shows, as I pointed out a couple weeks ago, lots of times, I see a topic pop up on Twitter or on YouTube or something, and I think, oh, that'd be cool for a live stream. But it's something that would take like 10 or 20 minutes, so you can't make a full live stream. So normally when we talk about live streams, we'll take like a 20-minute clip of something that's going on, so we can talk about it for the entire show. But anyway, I decided to have some shows where we just go through a bunch of these short little topics. And that's what we're going to do now. AP, have you heard of this? Well, matter of fact, let's take these first couple super chats, and then we'll jump into Zakir Naik. Wait, I'll just give everyone a little outline of what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to talk about Zakir Naik's channel dying. You heard of this Zakir Naik guy?
Who?
Yeah, that's what the internet is saying right now. Who? Classic. Going to be talking about a Saudi women's rights activist who's been sentenced to prison for I know she was just walking around in like overalls and not in burqa or anything, but we'll see. We'll read a little bit about that. We've got Disney. I think this was just today. Disney The exit to Disney on the highway was blocked by Queers for Palestine. You can't tell in the video. We're going to look at a video clip. You can't tell in the video that this is Queers for Palestine. Well, I mean, like, I didn't look at it very closely. Maybe there's something there. But after they got arrested, Queers for Palestine, Florida chapter or whatever said, yeah, two of our people just got arrested there. So that's Queers for Palestine. And then we're going to look at a clip from Hassan Nasrallah, who's the head of Hezbollah, on what he says he wants to do to Queers for Palestine. Anyway, so we'll check that out. AP, one of the most heartbreaking things that's been happening is Princeton students going on hunger strike. So we're going to look at clips of them.
Wait. I saw that they were on. I earlier saw a clip where this guy was explaining that they are on day 8 of the hunger strike, and he seems quite well. And
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't look like that after 8 days of a hunger strike. And
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. So we're going to watch that video you're talking about, and we got a video of a woman at the hunger strike talking about how the university is responsible for her immune system being compromised because of the hunger strike. And then we're going to watch this funny clip of. It's actually funny. This is something anyone anywhere could do. It's actually humorous. He's going up to all these white college kids wearing wearing Palestinian gear and stuff, and he's accusing them of cultural appropriation and shaming them, which I think is hilarious, right? Because it's like, wait, that was your guys' talking point like a couple of years ago. Now you're all running around Arab and bowing down and praying like that. Come on, and and if we get to it, we'll watch a clip from Piers Morgan's interview with Stephen Meyer. So we'll watch a little bit about that. We'll see what we get through. All right. So we'll take a couple super chats, and then we will jump into Zakir Naik. Poor Zakir Naik. I'm about to cry.
I saw a tweet by Destiny earlier in response to that guy who said, we are on a hunger strike, day 8. He said, day 8 of their hunger strike. At this point, some of these students might be starving more than the average Gaza. Which was
It's messed up. Messed up. TikTok, my watch is broke, lol. Oh, hey, I think he's making fun of us for being late.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Mother's Day to Mrs. Wood and Mrs. Apostate. I hope you both, David and Ridvan, treated them with some special treats today. Did y'all make breakfast? Sadly, I was asleep because of my sleeping schedule. I did get her a couple dozen roses, though. So that's about as romantic as I get.
I must say that I never think of Father's Day or Mother's Day because it's kind of there's a cultural detachment there. So I wasn't even aware until now. That must be sad. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it sucks. So for years, I have a built-in resistance to manipulation. Like an alarm goes off in my head if someone's trying to manipulate me into doing something. But I always got that vibe my entire life from holidays, right? Like, oh, this is Mother's Day and this is Valentine's Day. And so my entire life, you guys are just trying to make us buy stuff. Like, we're stupid. I'm not doing that. So anyway, then I got married, and then for years I wouldn't get her anything for Valentine's Day, nothing for Mother's Day. I'm like, it's a scam. They're trying to manipulate us into buying stuff. I want to get you something. I'll get you something. I'm doing it for a stupid holiday. And then, like, over time, I realized, she probably runs into people like, hey, what'd your husband get you for Valentine's Day? And then she goes, none. He thinks it's a scam by the man to make us buy stuff. So I was like, what the heck is the harm if I just buy her some flowers?
Yeah, what's
and
wrong
some
with
candy? Like, if I buy her flowers and candy or a piece of jewelry or something like that, like, okay. It's not like I'm giving in to the mass manipulation. I'm doing it for my wife. Good. Anyway, that's where I am now.
Like, it is the capitalist system exploiting us by forcing us to buy things.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, there are people who try to manipulate you and doing stuff, but you got to pick your battles. Battles. Hey, AP, maybe there's a video where you mentioned it, but I was curious. Where did you grow up in Germany? Grüße aus Bremen. Ice Boy.
Hey, nice. Hey, what's up, Ice Boy? I grew up in
Boys from Bremen.
No, I grew up on the opposite side of Germany, in the south, in Germany, uh, in the southwest, actually in Baden-Württemberg, near,
Ja,
near Stuttgart,
down
actually close
here,
to Schwäbisch Hall.
mit der Rodeo.
Yeah, yeah, that's where I grew up. So I can actually do a Schwäbisch accent when I speak German, which may sound very funny to people who are from the north.
Hmm.
Yeah, ich kann auch Schwäbisch schwätzen, weißt du?
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
David is late because he's getting his bunker ready. We are 4% of the population. Oh, oops, wrong channel. Oh no, we are being oppressed. Apartheid.
Beast.
Mr. Bukhari, does the spirit in Sahih Muslim 28a destroy Islam? Why don't you look that up, AP? Sahih Muslim 28a. Yeah, there are all sorts of problems with their view. I don't know which hadith you're talking about. I can think of multiple hadiths and multiple Quran verses that present a pretty big problem with them. As far as the spirit goes, what are you looking at?
He who said there is no God but Allah, he is one, and there is no associate with him, that Muhammad is his servant and his messenger, that Christ is his servant. What? And the son of his slave girl, and he, Christ, his word, what is this? Which he communicated to Mary, and is his spirit, that paradise is a fact and hell is a fact. Allah would make him, he who affirms these truths, enter paradise through any of its 8 doors which he would like.
Ouch! Does it say there he is his spirit?
This is something that Christ is servant and the son of his slave girl, and he, Christ, his word, which he communicated to Mary, and is his spirit.
And is his spirit. Yeah, so the Quran calls
this is a very weird translation. I would like to have a proper translation of this one.
Yeah, we might need some of our Arabic speaking friends to go through that and break that down, because the Quran calls Jesus a spirit from him. If he actually calls him his spirit, that seems a little more even more interesting. Soccer sponsored by Nike. Ugh. Boycott Nike for sponsoring soccer. My little bro was an atheist. He started researching whether Jesus Christ is real, and he became a believer due to all the evidence. He used your points to convert me and introduced me to you. To you two. God bless.
Nice.
That's pretty super cool. How does it feel, AP? How does it feel that now
amazing
converts to Christianity are coming to watch us because you're so encouraging?
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Don't watch AP's channel. He'll just be like, no, you're all doomed. It doesn't matter what you do.
I like Christianity.
Yeah, good hearing from you, Nemesis. And say hi to your little brother.
Say hi, indeed.
Mm-hmm. PDF file Prophet, how dare you not come to the party? May Allah's curse be upon you. I'll send everyone in it a link of you singing about sucking tongues to humiliate you. Yeah, that'd be good. I did go to the party. I was just not there very long. I sang happy birthday. I grabbed 3 pieces of cake and wolfed them down real quick. And here we are. Oh, hey, I got another one. Also, Sunan Abu Dawood 4324 describes Jesus' looks.
Oh, yeah,
you want to check that out real quick? You know that one?
Abu Dawood, I know, but I have to. 4324, you said?
Yeah. There's 2 numbering systems that are used. There's a difference between the print version and the online version. So
there is no prophet between me and him, that is Jesus. He will descend to the earth. When you see him, recognize him. A man of medium height, reddish fair, wearing 2 light yellow garments, looking as if drops were falling down from his head, though it will not be wet. He will fight the people for the cause of Islam. He will break the cross, kill the swine, abolish jizya. Allah will perish all religions except Islam. He will destroy the Antichrist and will live in the earth for 40 years. Then he will die. The Muslims will pray over him. So yes, man of medium height, reddish fair, wearing 2 light yellow garments, looking as if drops were falling from his head, although his hair is
You said
not
medium height? You said medium height? That's weird, because Bishop Marmari Emmanuel says that Jesus appeared to him and he's 6'1". That's not medium height. That's on the tall end. So who are we going to listen to?
Well, obviously, you would listen to the one who has signs of, being being a prophet,
Mhm.
such as, for example, in the case of Muhammad, we have that because he had a thing, a birthmark, on his back, and then he also had married a little child,
Yeah. That's
and he had the
powerful stuff.
sexual strength of
Oh,
30
hey,
men.
dude,
So
I don't know if you've seen it. Did you see Hijab's interview with, who was that?
Pearl,
No. Who was it?
I don't know who it was.
It was,
Can't really remember.
we watched it. We watched it on Inspiring Philosophy. Who was it?
Oh, was it those people who asked him about Christianity?
Oh, yeah. Those Russian sounding Turkish dudes. Please tell us, how can Jesus doesn't Jesus being born a virgin mean that he is God? How can you refute powerful Christian argument that no Christian has ever used before? Um, oh,
He actually
dude,
responded
have
to
you seen
that.
it? Huh?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
You haven't watched that?
I haven't watched it.
We watched most of it over on IP's channel. I wanted to go through the last section with you, where there was, okay, so Christianity has big problems, but why believe in Islam? And I told IP I was legitimately interested because I have no idea what their arguments are. All the arguments that they used for like 20 years, they now admit were bogus and deceptive. And then so, what are their arguments even? And man, we have got me and Inspiring Philosophy went through it kind of rapid fire, but I would actually like to bring it up and go through actual sources because my goodness, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. He actually went back to, I'm talking arguments that I haven't heard for like 20 years because we destroyed them so thoroughly. He actually argued Muhammad's character was so perfect that he must be a prophet. That was from like 20 years ago when no one knew anything about Muhammad. And you read these books and they give dawah and it's like, see, you don't know anything about him, but he's so amazing. He's so perfect. No one could ever find a single flaw in his perfect character. He could challenge everyone in the world in all of history to point out one flaw in his life and no one could do it. People go, wow, he's so great. He must be a prophet. They convert. So the reason back in the day we started like really putting a lot of emphasis on Muhammad and Aisha and Muhammad and Zainab and all these issues was specifically because they were using his character as an argument. We weren't just randomly saying, "Hey, look at your prophet, he's messed up." It was, "Oh, you say that how great he is evidence that he's a prophet. It's proof that he's a prophet. Well, let's look at some of the things of his life." And so then I didn't hear that argument for years, and now all of a sudden hijab is bringing it back. Thank you. Early Christmas present, Muhammad hijab. Muhammad's so great, he must be from God. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we got to do that, man.
That's the thing with Muhammad Hijab. He's loud and he argues and he fights with people. But is there ever actually a video or is there ever actually a debate where he goes into properly presenting his argument for why Islam is true and why Islam is right and all that? It's like he barely does that. And when he does it, you'll see why he doesn't do that. It's because his reasoning, his argumentations are terrible, very terrible.
That's a good point. As far as, I mean, you can go up to any one of these dawah guys and say, hey, let's discuss why Muhammad's a prophet. They won't touch it. They won't touch that topic. They won't come within 1,000 miles. I mean, to be fair, there are exceptions. There are exceptions because I have been in debates with Muslims on whether Muhammad's a prophet. You don't find the main dawah guys doing it. They don't want to touch it. They won't go near Muhammad. And it's crazy because, guys, if you were able to defend Muhammad as a true prophet, you win. You win. You win the debates. You win all the debates. If you were to prove that he's a prophet, you kind of win all the debates about whether Islam is true. And you won't touch it. Why? Because you get what we're going to see from Muhammad Hijab sometime this week when we go through it. It's really bad.
He accepted to debate me in person, and I actually offered him the debate topic, is Islam true? And he rejected it. Rejected it outright. It's because he doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to talk about the actual the truth claims and discussing the claims, whether they are true or not. He doesn't want to get into that stuff.
We need to I think we have to start calling them on that more. Like, hey, guys, there are a couple of things. There are a couple of things that if you defended them successfully, you would win, and you won't go near them. And you act like you have this great airtight case, so much so that you can go around slaughtering people in the name of Allah. If you're going to go slaughtering someone in the name of, you should probably have a pretty airtight case for Muhammad being a prophet. So that if you're doing that kind of stuff, and deep down you don't even believe you do, so what are you doing? It's like you've become a gang. It's just that's it. It's like, hey, we've become a violent gang. We're going to go killing people, but don't challenge why we believe any of this stuff.
Yes.
Indeed. Where did Blue AP go? That'd be funny. Call you Blue AP. Where did Blue
I
AP
have
go? He was pretty cool last time.
I haven't seen him lately. I don't know what he's doing nowadays.
It's kind of funny. You put some blue hair on to make fun of stuff, and then people are like, "Wow, you look cool." reminds me of in The Office. Jim came in and he was dressed like Dwight, and he looked like a dork and so on. And then Dwight started screaming about identity theft and so on. And then at the end, Dwight came in dressed like Jim, and everyone's like, "Wow, looking good, Dwight." That didn't work. By the way, thanks to both of you for this. You're awesome. Yes, that's true. We accept.
Thank you.
We could pretend we're super humble and say no, that's not true. But
oh no, I cannot accept this. I cannot accept this. Please, no. I will never accept this.
Queers for Palestine is literally like cows for McDonald's or chickens for KFC. Yes, it is. It's pretty terrible. AP looking really hot with the new haircut. If I were 6, I would ask you to marry me.
Ooh.
Don't say that on the Dawa channel. You start getting messages in your DMs.
wait, you're 6? You're 6? Ooh. Have you ever heard of Muta?
Yeah, do some Muta. Don't worry, it's allowed in the Quran. Hey guys, please pray for the people in Brazil. By the way, here's the jizya. What's going on in Brazil? Something bad going on in Brazil? I don't know. What would Muhammad do for Mother's Day? He was actually pretty broken up about his mom because he had some vague memories of his mom. But they passed, I forget when this was. It was on one of their trips when they passed by a place, and that was where Muhammad's grave was. And so Muhammad stopped to go over to his mother's grave, and they said his tears soaked his beard. It got to the point where his beard was soaked with his tears over his mom. His mom died when he was about, was it 6? Yeah. So his dad died before he was born. His mom sends him to stay in the desert with some Bedouins. They send him back when he's like 4.5 because they think he's demon possessed. They're like, get this monster out of here. He's demon possessed. Send him back. So they send him back to his mom. He's with his mom for about 1.5 years. Then his mom dies. Then they send him to live with his grandfather. His grandfather dies. So Muhammad loses every single close relationship with anyone ever by the time he's 8. And if you want to know the psychological impact that would have on someone and the kind of attachment issues it would give someone, just fast forward to Muhammad's life and look at things like, if you leave me, I'm going to have you executed. No one can have my wives after me. Things like that. It's all connected. It's all connected to all this stuff that happened to him when he was young.
So you're saying he had mommy issues?
He had mommy and daddy issues, both of them.
Yeah.
Death and the awful abode of lost souls, whither my weakness long ago had sent him, had changed him for every other eye but mine. Death and the awful abode of lost souls, whither my weakness long ago had sent him, had changed him for every other eye but mine. I was wondering if I could recall who that's from, but I can't at all. Listening to Zakir makes me want to detonate into oblivion, so I guess his dawah is level 1000. Yeah, his dawah was awesome. Semen is such a persistent stain. And now I heard his voice rising, swelling, thundering through the flaring light, and as I fell, the radiance increasing, poured over me in waves of flame. Then I sank into the depths. And I heard the king in yellow whispering to my soul, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Amen. Indeed.
By the way, the hadith about the hadith. Your question on Brazil. By the way, in Brazil there is a flood happening. That's probably what the comment was about.
I've seen floods. I've seen floods in lots of places lately.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
But you know why? You know why? Because Greta's there protesting Eurovision.
Yeah.
If she was still focusing on the environment, we wouldn't have this problem. Go ahead.
I see a flood of stupid people and of terrorist sympathizers.
Yeah, what's worse, the floods that are like destroying towns and stuff, or the floods of stupid people?
Stupid people. Um, However, just to comment about that hadith earlier about Jesus being the spirit from him, it is the same wording. I just looked it up. Jesus, servant of Allah, and his word, which he bestowed on Mary, and a spirit from him. So it says, "Waruhum minna." It's the same wording in the Quran. So a spirit from him.
So that's what it says in the hadith. It says Jesus is a spirit from him.
Yes.
So it doesn't say his spirit. It says a spirit from him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So same thing. Yeah. It is
Yep.
interesting. It is interesting. And the issue, guys, that we brought up before, when Allah creates, he says be, and then the thing pops into existence. So if Allah creates a cup, he says be, and then the cup pops into existence. But when you talk about Allah's speech, that comes from within Allah. It comes from inside Allah. And so it's in some sort of different category. But it's the same thing with the spirit of Allah. Allah breathes out the spirit. Allah breathes out the spirit. And so why is Jesus something that somehow originates from within Allah? He's described as the speech of Allah, so he's spoken out, and he's described as the spirit of Allah, so he's breathed out. So why is Jesus different from everything else? All our Muslim friends can say is, Allah knows best.
But those guys actually asked Muhammad the job about the virgin birth.
Yeah, it's a classic straw man. According to, and I've never once heard this argument from a Christian. I've heard it hundreds, if not thousands of times from Muslims when they say what our argument is. They say, our argument is, since Jesus is born of a virgin, that means he's the Son of God and therefore God. And that's what our argument is. And then the Muslim response always, which is the exact response Muhammad Hijab gave, and I've heard Muslim speakers, Muslim dawah guys, they all do this. They'll get on stage. They'll get on stage and say, and so I was talking to a Christian the other day, and he says, you have to believe that Jesus is God because he's born of a virgin. And I said, oh, really? Well, if since Jesus had no father, he must be God. Guess what? Adam had no father. That makes him an even greater God, right? And the crowd bursts into cheers. Yeah! Oh, what a burn! Straw man. Never heard a Christian use that argument. Never
That's
once in my life heard a Christian use that argument. Again, I've heard the argument hundreds, if not thousands of times, always from Muslims saying what our arguments are. And it's exactly what hijab did. That would make Adam a God.
It's false equivalence. It's like in Jesus' case, you're talking about a virgin birth. You're talking about a man being born of a virgin, so with a mother, but without a human father. You can't compare that to Adam, who is literally the first man and who is not born of a virgin, but who's not born by humans. It's not the same thing. These are completely different two things.
If God is creating someone, he has to create and there's no people before him. He has to create that person. Then he's going to create Eve, he either has to create Eve from Adam or just create a separate person. After that, you've got human reproduction is how people are created. And then all of a sudden, when we get to Jesus, the course of nature, something so important is happening that the course of nature is broken. God says, no, I have to do something different this time. So when Adam has no father, it's of necessity. When Jesus has no father, why? The question is why? And the answer from an Islamic perspective is Allah knows best. There once was a man called Muhammad. He thought he was some kind of prophet, but the sight of a child could drive the men wild, and his blank would shoot off like a rocket. And then the child would have to clean scrub his clothes for him. AP making atheists believe in Jesus. Noise. Well, no, she said she found us, but her and her brother like our stuff. That's pretty cool.
Beast.
Brother, for this stream, you should judge the super chats like this. Brother makes a good point. Brother makes a bad point. Ask a good question. Brother makes a good point. Brother makes a good question. Bad question.
But that's a very good question.
Yeah.
He says.
He says. David, I finished the Seeking. Gosh, we got to jump into the video because we got a bunch of super chats early on. David, I finished the Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus audiobook. I like the story where you said a Muslim said that he was going to behead you wound up becoming a Christian. Oh yeah, I didn't know that was in there. I didn't know that was in there. But yeah, I get messages like that. Yeah. I don't know which story you're talking to, because that's happened several times. So there was like this Indian, there's like this Indian guy, and he sends me messages, and he's telling me he's going to kill me, and I was like, okay, well, all right, when and stuff, and he's like you're going to come to me, or do I need to come to you? And he's like, no, you have to come to me, and some crap like that. And I was like, so what? You expect me to buy a plane ticket so you can come? Yes, you have to do this. Anyway, we're going back and forth, and then later on, I have to go through. I still got that. I kept the screenshots of the whole discussion and so on. But yeah, later on, he apologized to me and saying he was just mad, and then he sent me messages saying that now he's talking to a Christian in his area and so on. And then he said he was going to church, and it was interesting because then I got a message from the Christian. I got a message from the Christian saying, hey, there's this guy, blah, 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 who just converted to Christianity. I said, hey, I know him. He was sending me death threats. And the guy says, yes, I'm the one who told him to watch your videos. So as a Christian in his area said, hey, go watch David Wood's videos. And then the guy starts watching and then threatens to kill me and stuff. And I start messing with him for a while. And then he ends up converted. Anyways, there's cool stuff like that. But yeah, there's been stuff like that. I've had messages from people like, hey, I was gonna go become a terrorist, and so thank you for helping me not be that anymore.
That's very nice.
Yeah, cool stuff. Chloe, for he loves and he saves us, and so he will send an angelic host to give us comfort and burn the ants which crawl across our beliefs and bite us.
I must say, it would be kind of cooler though if he became a terrorist.
Yeah, that would be more based.
Yeah.
That'd be more based. All right, guys, we have a bunch we already have more super chats here, but do want to get into one of our topics. Again, if you're just tuning in now, we have multiple topics that we're going to be covering. One is our hero, Zakir Naik. You heard of this guy, AP?
Who?
Zakir Naik. Look at this.
The channel has surpassed 3 million subscribers. Alhamdulillah.
God, this channel, keep in mind, guys, he's a medical doctor. This channel has surpassed 3 million subscribers.
Alhamdulillah. He also has to tell you that, so you know. So we all know how many subscribers it has. We have to know it always.
Yeah, he reminds us that he has 3 million subscribers, and it's all praise to Allah. So keep in mind, he's praising Allah for his 3 million plus subscribers. And we can look down a little bit. We can see he's actually got close to 4 million. Is he going to see 4 million? No. I predict he will not see 4 million.
I mean, he is at the end of his life, very much. Yeah.
Keep in mind, guys, if you have 3.85 million, 4 million is right around the corner. How's this guy going to get to 4 million? It could happen based on, I don't know, they could hire people or buy some subscribers or something like that. But I don't know how you're ever going to cross that 4 million mark when here's how your videos are doing. So keep in mind, 17 hours ago, he posted, why do the Muslims and Christians not unite on what is common, blah, blah, blah. 5.3 thousand. And that is a very good start for him. That's a good start for one of his recent videos. Look at it. So check out all his recent videos. 5.3 thousand, 3.2 thousand, 7,600, 3.4, 4.3, 2.7. Guys, keep in mind, if you have a channel that with like 10 or 20 or 30,000 subscribers and so on, these would be fine. These numbers would be fine here. When you have 4 million subscribers, that's 4 million people who at some point liked your stuff so much that they subscribed to your channel and were watching your videos at some point. If you have 4 million subscribers and you can barely get 4,000 views, that means that like what, 1/10 on average, 1/10 of 1% of your subscribers are actually watching your videos. 5.3 thousand, 3.2 thousand, 7.6, 3.4, 4.3, 2.7, 3.6, 2.6, 4,200, 2,400, 2,500. Oh, 16,000. That's a record. So 5 days ago, was Persia forced to accept Islam? Dr. Naik. So that apparently caught some interest. Let me give you some advice, Zakir Naik. If you said something that got people's attention, do more stuff about Persia.
Plus, it would probably have gotten more if he had named it Iran, not Persia, I would say.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea. 2,700, 1,600, 77. What's the record so far? It was 1,600, 16,000. Nope. Now we have 17,000. Why did the Jews want to kill Jesus, and who was his substitute on the cross? That's actually good. Man, we might want to watch a couple of these short videos.
Well, it didn't get the attention.
So that's it. That's his record of a bunch of recent videos we've looked at. 17,000. Let's see how far. Let's see how far we need to go to get to something that breaks the 20,000 mark. We'll scroll down and break the 20,000 mark, and then we'll call that a day for Zakir Naik. 2,900 guys. In the meantime, try to think, and we'll ask you in the chat why Zakir Naik's channel is dying like this. A guy who once got millions of views is having trouble breaking 20,000. We haven't even seen a recent video with 20,000. We'll scroll down until we find one. So 17,000, 2,900, 3,700, 5,400, 1,200, 5,600, 3,100, 3,500, 44. Gosh, I was assuming it was going to be somewhere down here. 7,100, 3,600, 10,000, 3,300, 18,000. Getting close. Ooh, LGBT. Hey, Zakir Naik, take note. Persia, and AP was right, better to title it Iran. Iran and LGBT issues got you a significant boost over other recent videos. Trying to help you here.
Yes, you need to talk more about gay stuff.
Yeah.
Zakir Naik.
Yeah, bet you'd love that. 3,800, 10,000, 34. Gosh, I really thought I was going to scroll down a couple more lines. I was going to see 20,000. 82, 32, 33, 85, 8,400, 2,800, 5,200, 35. Does he not have anything that broke 20,000? We're at 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, 3,000 views, 3,400, 4,000, 2,400, 6,300, 3,500. Gosh, and this is a big year from Islam. Stuff's going on with Islam all over the world. This would be a time for him to regain his popularity. 4,330. Now, I don't even know if we could do this because I don't know how far this is going to go. So where are we at? 2,800, 2,300, 3,800, 39. I had no clue. I'm not joking. I had no clue it was going to be this bad. Because I was just looking at a couple of his recent videos. 1.3, gosh, a month ago. 1.3 thousand. 1,000? 3,800, 3,100, 2,100, 3,000. Okay, now I'm getting creeped out. I don't know if we can keep going. All right. Guys, how many dozens of videos do we need to scroll through to find a video where a guy with almost 4 million subscribers gets just 20,000 views? That's all I'm looking for. Something where he reached 20,000 views.
This stream is just bullying Zakir Naik.
I'm about to give 834 views. He didn't break 1,000 on that. He literally didn't break 1,000 views on that video. Oh my goodness, guys, this is bad. This is bad. Did I miss something here? 730 views on a Ramadan video? I can't. I mean, I'm still assuming that something, because I want to stop. I don't want to go on for like 40 minutes doing this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, dudes. I'm about to give up. I'm going to go for like another 10 or 15 seconds, and then I'm giving up finding a video. It's actually it's getting worse. Like you go farther back, 1,200, 1,400, 2,500. Now he's not even breaking 10. How is this considered the greatest da'i of all time?
Ooh, David, I'm looking at something very interesting right now.
What?
So there's this website, Social Blade. I'm looking at that right now.
Yep.
And looking at view counts per day and subscriber counts per day. And I'm comparing his channel to my channel and to your channel, and he's like, he's doing extremely poor.
Really?
Extremely poor.
I mean, dude, I'm at like videos from 2 months ago. So these videos have been up 2 months. And it's like Ramadan videos and stuff. Fasting during pregnancy and lactation. Dr. Zakir Naik. Seems like there would be some people with that question. 2,700. Now it's becoming
That's
an
fun.
addiction, dude. Now I'm getting like the spinning thing dude, I'm giving up. I'm giving up. Guys, this is pathetic. I'll say it again. If you have 20,000, 30,000 subscribers or something like that, and you get, look, there's a big one. Dr. Zakir Naik's reply to the question, do you believe in the Bible? 16,000. A lady accepts Islam after the lecture. Keep it. When he used to post a video, a lady accepts Islam, a woman accepts Islam after he lies to her and fills her head with a bunch of nonsense. They used to get hundreds of thousands, if not millions. Now 17,000. People just don't care about this dude anymore. Anyway, you won't hear this much in my life, ladies and gentlemen, but I give up. We've scrolled through what? 150 videos or so like that. We can't find one where he even broke 20,000 views. Zakir Naik is apparently now incapable. He's incapable of generating a video where he achieves 20,000 views. The vast majority of those videos were like 2,000 or 3,000. Some of them didn't even break 1,000. This is the guy 10 years ago that said, this is the guy that 10 years ago that all Muslims around the world were saying everyone's scared of him. He's overpowered us. We're all running from him. We're all asking on what planet. Everyone has challenged this guy to debate. He won't touch anyone. He won't go near anyone. He did like 2 debates like 20 some years ago against people that no one had ever heard of. And then he convinced his followers that he had defeated Christianity's greatest debaters. And his dumb followers were so dumb. They don't, I mean, keep in mind, to be fair, like if you were talking about a debater in like India, I wouldn't know the difference between that guy in India and some other, and a great debater in India. I wouldn't know because I'm not familiar with stuff that goes on out there. So it's probably similar for his fans out there. They don't know the difference between, some pastor from a church or William Lane Craig. They don't know the difference. So if he's saying, yeah, I took on their best and so on, then they think, oh, he took on their best and defeated them. And so he took on 2 people that no one had ever heard of. And then he backed down from every debate challenge ever and just said, you're not good enough for me. You're not up to my level. It's like, we don't know what your level is until we see you face an actual debater. And the request has been simple from me for years. Just debate one actual Christian debater, one experienced Christian debater at one point in your entire career. Don't care who it is. Don't care who it is. Don't care what background. Just an actual experienced Christian debater. Someone who's done 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 debates. Zakir Naik, as far as I'm aware, has done like 2 or 3. So we'll just never know. And now he's at the end. And now, I mean, if he debated now, like who would even care? No one cares about him anymore. So AP, you have any theories on why no one cares about Zakir Naik at all anymore? When just you go back like 10 years, he was like the all-time gold standard. I don't even mean in our lifetimes. He's like the all-time GOAT, the legend, the greatest who ever did it. Everyone's terrified of him. Everyone's running from him. And now no one cares about him. What, you have any theories on this?
Well, I must say personally, if I was a Muslim myself, religious, I would not watch Zakir Naik right now. He had an audience. He had something going for him when there were no others, when the internet wasn't really used very widely by everyone, like democratically, you could say, to go online and share your perspectives, where only a select few people were almost in an elite way becoming the Muslim apologists and Muslim preachers. Then he was the favorite. He was the favorite then, but he doesn't have anything of quality that is very much appreciated if you just leave it to the people themselves or to the culture. He doesn't have a good way of talking. His speeches are awful. You can hardly understand him much of the time. You need subtitles, you need captions for whenever he speaks. His arguments are absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. I mean, I haven't heard a single actually challenging a good argument from him, and I've heard good arguments. Somewhat good arguments from different people who have much smaller channels, but who are slowly growing. Younger YouTubers, younger Dawa people who are going online and who are presenting different arguments for Islam and for for God, for theism, against different religions, and so on. People are actually coming up with interesting arguments and have a way of discussing these arguments with other people, laying them down, responding to others, and so on, engaging with people in general. having a way of just appealing to the regular person. Zakir Naik is not one of those. He had his popularity when nobody else could become popular, but now it's basically over. He sounds ridiculous, and his arguments are ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, and yeah, I think it's a combination of factors. So some of what you just talked about. What amazes me, what absolutely amazes me, is that hey, bunches of people are giving channel memberships. That's interesting. That's not normal. That's normal on your channel, but now everyone's gifting memberships over here.
Based.
That's pretty based. That's pretty based. Yeah, I don't know because I have notifications about chats and super chats, but not. I have to actually look at my account. I mean, I have to look at the actual account feed here to see that. Anyway, cool. I don't know why that's happening, but it is. Anyway,
Almost based as child sacrifice.
why I think it's really interesting. It was like 2007 or 2008. So it was a little while over after Nabil became a Christian. Might even have been, no, that might have been like 2006. That's when we started debating. But back then, I remember I bought I went online and bought the Zakir Naik debate collection because I'd assumed he'd been doing tons of debates for years. So I bought the Zakir Naik debate collection because I wanted to see what arguments were the best from Islam's top guy. And I was told he's the guy. And so I bought it, and it was a collection of 10 DVDs. And it's like, cool. And I got it. 2 of them were debates, which again are the only 2 debates I've ever seen him do. And the rest were just his lectures where he does some Q&A at the end. And I was like, wait, you're counting those as debates? That's part of your debate collection is you giving a talk and then taking some Q&A at the end. So I started wondering, I started looking around like, who is this guy debating and so on. Anyway, that's back around the same time when I found out. So Nabil was a new Christian. We'd been asking people about doing some debates, and we found out how the process works. How the process worked back then was you would go to a Muslim organization like the Muslim Students Association or something like that and say, we want to have a debate with a Muslim debater. Then they would pick their Muslim debater, and they're going to pick Shabir Ali or Jamal Badawi or something like that, someone who's kind of handpicked for a Western audience. And then they were going to get back to you and they're going to say, okay, so our debater is going to be Shabir Ali or Jamal Badawi or someone like that. And here are the topics that they're willing to debate. Did Jesus die on the cross? Did Jesus rise from the dead? Is Jesus God? Is the Trinity true? Is the Bible the Word of God? One of those topics, take your pick. And the Muslim organization would tell you if your speaker at any point criticizes Muhammad or the Quran, the entire Muslim audience is going to get up and leave. So just don't criticize Muhammad or the Quran during this debate. And then they would proceed with the debate. And Christians would go along with that. Christians would go along with that stuff. And we're sitting there thinking, we're putting all the power in their hands to control the topics and control the speakers and control what's allowed to be said. Why are we doing that? I said, we need to change that. And besides that, you've got Shabir Ali. The Muslims we talk to behave very differently from the way Shabir Ali behaves. They react very differently from the way Shabir Ali reacts. They defend things completely differently from the way Shabir acts. So why don't we find someone that actually lines up with them, with the people, with the Muslims we know personally, with the Muslims we run into online? Why don't we pick people who are more like that? And so the goal back then became, well, instead of us going to the Muslim organization, we'll announce it online. Hey, we are looking for a Muslim who's willing to defend Muhammad on this point. Something like that. Anyway, started having tons of debates, not with Zakir Naik. He wasn't willing to debate Muhammad. Not with Shabir Ali. He wasn't going to debate Muhammad. But you could find Muslims and Dawah guys and so on who are willing to defend Muhammad on various points and stuff. So we said, okay, we'll just do that. And the goal was, over time, you'll replace this handpicked Muslim Dawah guys who are handpicked by organizations, Muslim organizations, specifically because they are more appealing to a Western audience. What happens if we get the guys who will actually defend Muhammad? What happens? And you look, here we are. And so Everyone's played a role. All the Christian apologists, a bunch of the atheists, everyone played a role in sort of snowballing this over time. In that now, guess what? Guess what's happened? All the traditional guys, no one pays attention to them anymore, and it's all these chest thumping young guys. Why? The previous generation has been replaced by people who are thumping their chest. We strong, we strong, we strong, and it's like, gosh, that's exactly. It's just fun thinking, hey, back in 2006, 2007, sitting there thinking, hey, in order to fix this big problem, here's what needs to happen. And then it ends up being what happens exactly. Like they've all been replaced and no one cares about Zakir Naik anymore.
And it's because those who are loud and those who are chest thumping and who are as aggressive and as uncivilized as possible are actually the accurate representation of Muslim society.
That's pretty racist. That's pretty racist. You're ignoring the Islamic golden age, AP.
It sounds worse than I actually had it in my head, but so they are a much more accurate representation of the average Muslim than these learned people with speech impediments are.
Yeah. So anyway, these are good times, ladies and gentlemen. So it's just amazing that back then I was thinking, here's what would really cause a problem for Islam's future. If these guys who are picked to appeal to Western audiences were replaced by people who are picked by the Muslim population for being the kind of people that appeal to Muslims and who would be horrifying to non-Muslims much of the time. And now we've got who? We've got Muhammad Hijab and his golden showers and defending child marriage. And we got Ali Dawa and, it's going to eat the popcorn while he's watching you all be beheaded. And, who wants my 9-year-old daughter? She's ready for marriage. Daniel Hakikachu.
It doesn't matter if she's 5. It doesn't matter if she's 4. Even if she's 3. Even if she's an 11-month-old baby and you get parental consent, it's fine.
Who else? Who you got? You got Sheikh Uthman. I got stabbed. The Islamophobes got me. Where's David Wood and the Apostate Prophet? It's your fault. It's your fault. Send more support to my Dawa ministry. These are the guys.
There's one guy that I can't put in either camp. There's one guy that I don't know where of the two camps he belongs, and he's this guy. You know who I'm talking about? David Wood and Sam Shamoon, and they are all scared of me. They won't debate me.
Nadir?
Yes.
That dude's the biggest joke of all, and he's the weird one. Because I was telling IP, Dawa guys seem to have like a half-life. Zakir Naik lasted longer. Ahmed Didat lasted longer. But in the internet age, because you didn't have the internet age. Once you get to the internet age, Dawa guys seem to have a half-life of somewhere in 3 to 7 years. And that's the reason is they'll come along. A new Dawa guy will come along. He'll have some new way of deceiving people, some new way of manipulating or deceiving people. And it'll work for a while because they're not familiar with it, not familiar with the tactics and so on. Over a period of a couple years, he gets more and more popular. Then people figure out the tactics. Then the tactics don't work anymore. Then the person can no longer step on the debate stage because the tactics that worked earlier don't work anymore. They're not going to work. People are just going to see right through it, and they're gonna blow him out the water. So he has to duck. He has to start ducking things, and then eventually no one takes him seriously anymore. And then he gets replaced by some other Dawa guy who comes along, and he has a better way of deceiving people and so on. And that's just this waves. It's like being on the beach, wave of deception after wave of deception after wave of deception. Welcome to Dawa, ladies and gentlemen. But keep in mind, the true religion needs an endless series of waves of deception to defend it. That's how you can spot when something is true. It needs endless deception to defend it. But Zakir Naik he's been cooked, ladies and gentlemen. He's done. His arguments have been refuted by too many people. Hey, people are still sending in. Why did this happen?
This is the proof that it's true.
No, it's interesting. Tons of people sending channel memberships. I guess I have to put some super cool stuff.
See, lots of people are gifting memberships, and this is the proof that
this is the proof.
How many people are gifting memberships to Zakir Naik's channel? No one, because people don't even know he has a channel anymore.
This is the proof.
All right, couple super chats, and then we'll go on to the next topic. Hi, guys. Thanks for everything you both do. Side note for everyone who was upset with she was 9 years old, Corey from Ask Project is going to debate him on his anti-Semitism on Middle East Witness Channel Sunday the 19th. Should be fun.
Really?
Yeah, guys, and keep in mind, so when you're talking about, I operate on kind of a cool point system. The she was 9 years old guy, he got like 1 million cool points for that one video. She was 9 years old, and then with his it was a very clever move. It was the perfect move. Like 1 million cool points. So then you find out he doesn't like Jews. All right, that means we're not going to be helping him and promoting him and stuff like that because we also don't want to promote stuff like that. But that doesn't, just because someone has a bad idea or bad view doesn't mean like, oh, okay, we're done with this guy forever. No, you want to try and help. You want to try and help this guy. What?
You might want to elaborate what you mean by he doesn't like Jews, because it's not just about not liking Jews.
Oh.
It's about the crazy, the insane conspiracy.
Yeah, so he's in with all the nutty conspiracy theories, and it's like kind of like, I don't know, because I don't know, but it's like the stuff you'd hear from the Groypers or something like that. So anyway, the idea here is, and this is true even of the Groypers, people can have bad ideas, they can fall for some stupid stuff. You don't want to count that person out forever. You know what I mean? You want to try and talk to the person, reason with the person, debate the person, and see if he can change his views on a topic. So I'm glad he's going to step up and debate some of that stuff with Corey there. AP, if you're an atheist, why do you complain when an Oxford intellectual sexually harasses you or your wife?
This is a good point. I have been thinking about this, and I have been thinking that I should probably not do that anymore. Yeah.
That's good. So from now on, AP will just reluctantly agree with everything Muhammad Hijab says.
Yeah.
I grew up atheist and then later came to the same conclusion David did about the followers of Christ, used Paul's 1 Timothy 15 to 17. I'm assuming you're talking about chapter 1 as my baptism verse. Yes, good passage. Good passage there. Shroud of Turin.
Is that something that you do when you get baptized? Like,
what?
Do you choose a specific thing to read from or to something like that?
That was never part of my baptism or anything, but I don't know if that's just something he wanted to do, or he might come from a church that does that. I mean, it seems like cool. It seems like a cool idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shroud of Turin shows Jesus is about 6 foot. So that's a thumbs up to Mari.
Beast.
David, where can I find those 3-hour telethon type shows you and Sam used to do many years ago? I think Sam reposted. I took down almost everything off my old channel, so those live streams would have been there. But other people have always reposted my stuff, and Sam has reposted a bunch of those. We're here for Blue AP. Black hair dork depart. Ouch. They called you black hair dork. They don't trust you unless you have blue hair anymore.
It's racism. Racism. I'm forced to change.
Let's see. Thanks for the lives, full of info, most importantly, full of laughs and goats screaming. You guys get people to think, and sheesh, we definitely need that. Well, there can be only one answer to that, Jax. Screaming Goats Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. All right, was ready to go on to the next topic, but AP apparently left to put on his blue hair, I'm guessing. We'll see.
Yes, I'm ready.
Happy Mother's Day to the two queens, Mrs. Wood and Mrs. AP, that helped create your offspring. Yeah, there he is.
Hello, guys. Free Palestine.
Oh, maybe we'll go into that topic next, since we have the perfect representative of the movement here. All right, we ready to jump into our next topic? So, sad for Zakir Naik, but what can we do? His channel is dying and shall never recover. All thanks to us and the new generation of Dawa guys who, fortunately, are complete narcissists and want to take all the attention to themselves and have methods for doing it, and they're good at it. They're good at getting attention for themselves. And so, sucks for Zakir Naik, but... So anyway, the point is, it was a joint effort. It was Christian apologists It was atheists. It was Muslim da'is who were narcissists and want attention. And all together, we were able to destroy a man who was once regarded as the greatest da'i of all time. And now he's done. Stick a fork in him.
Sucks for sucker Naik.
Sucks for sucker Naik. All right. What are we talking about?
I have no idea.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You've got on, Queers for Palestine. Queers for Palestine. What are you doing? All right, you ready?
Yes.
We'll give blue-haired AP molestiny.
Yeah, I'm molesting. Yes.
All right, so blue-haired AP. This is, I think it's from today. I didn't see it before today, but then today I've seen it from a ton of different accounts. But Queers for Palestine blocked the road that leads out of Disney World. And didn't last long because it's Florida, and Florida's not going to put up with this stuff. If they'd done it in New York, this thing would have lasted like 10 hours and stuff before police figured out what to do. But it was in Florida, and they lasted 11 minutes. Before police got them off the road. You can't tell from the video who this is. At least I didn't see it when I watched the video. I didn't see any signs saying Queers for Palestine or something like that. But the Florida chapter of Queers for Palestine posted afterwards that it was their people who got arrested here. So there are a bunch of these clips because lots of people were recording from different angles and stuff like that. But so I just went ahead and picked one. Here's a clip.
Palestine! Free Palestine!
Do you understand that? Do you know that?
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Well, you get it?
That just sounds so freaking annoying. What do you think you will achieve by doing this?
That's what he's asking them. He's like, you not realize, but just by ticking everyone off constantly, you're not winning anyone over to your side. You're making us not like you.
Yeah.
It is. And guys, this kind of sucks because now you have an entire generation that's, well, if we can't make our case in any other way, we're just going to scream like babies and throw tantrums and try to annoy you as much as possible until you do what we want. So that's
imagine I was going around like how annoying this sounds. Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
That's actually hold up. That's actually perfect. Okay, she'll do it and then you'll do it. Hang on.
Palestine!
Hang on.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Do you know that?
Free Palestine!
If I wasn't actually just watching you and I was just listening, I wouldn't be able to tell who's who. You are spot on, man. Five more years of us doing impressions, and you're gonna be like Jim Carrey or something, man.
But seriously, isn't this so bad? It's like I'm getting a headache just hearing that sound. Like it's kicking in immediately. It's like kicking in like faster than any drug or whatever it is. I don't know. It's like I'm immediately getting a headache, immediately getting into angry mode when I hear that noise. And people actually think, I will go out there and we will block the streets and we will take out a sign and we will write Free Palestine on that and we will prevent people from driving and we will say Free Palestine and this will help.
And then Israel's gonna have a ceasefire, and all the Jews are gonna leave, so all the Palestinians can go take over Israel. See, we're making a difference, everybody. We're making a big difference by blocking the road outside of Disney World. And this but it's like, I don't know. It's like we don't know what to do, therefore we'll just do anything, even if it has zero hope of achieving anything we want and will only tick other people off. As long as we feel like we're doing something, that's all that matters, even if we're doing absolutely nothing. And even if we're harming. Because, guys, serious question. Guys, name one actual Palestinian in Gaza or the West Bank who has ever been helped by these people right here. One. Just one. Name one person who's ever been helped. In fact, I would argue, again, that it's the opposite. That if the people of Gaza did not have these global cheerleaders cheering them on, that's right, from the river to the sea, to encourage them that the world is with them, I don't think they'd continue fighting, right? You'd realize, okay, they're way more powerful than us. There's nothing we could do. We cannot win this. We can't win by just going in and getting our stuff bombed in response. We can't win this. But when they do it and the entire world starts condemning Israel, they think, oh, okay, this is working. As a long-term strategy, if we keep attacking and keep fighting and keep getting bombed, yes, over time we're turning the world against Israel, and it's worth it. Why? Because people like that. So keep in mind, they're not helping any actual Palestinians. They're not helping anyone in Gaza. They're not helping anyone in the West Bank. They're not doing it. They're encouraging them to keep fighting, which continues the cycle of bloodshed. That's what these guys are doing.
Let me tell you something. I know the people who need to hear this will probably not hear this, but people should probably tell this to those idiots. But no matter how much they protest, I don't actually want to insinuate that they are protesting because they think they can make a difference. They're just protesting because it's a cool thing. It's in fashion right now. But honestly, no matter how much you protest, no matter how many celebrities protest, no matter how many people at the Eurovision protest, or how many people go out in the street and say free Palestine and annoy some random regular middle class people in America who are just trying to get to work, or who are going to trying to go to the doctor or whatever it is, no matter what you do, there's probably one thing that you should know right now. In this war, Israel will not change their decision in the slightest. They will not care at all. And I don't care how bad this sounds to those idiots who think, oh no, this is a human rights situation. This is genocide. Genocide. People dying is genocide. People having a lifespan is genocide. You are idiots. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. You can go out there. You can dance. You can get naked. You can dress up as dinosaurs, as terrorists, as doctors, whatever it is you want to dress up as. You can go out there and carry signs with free Palestine, free this, free that, death to this, death to that. It doesn't matter what you do. You can blow yourselves up. You can self-immolate. It doesn't matter what you do. Nothing at all will change Israel's policies. Israel will not change. They will finish the job. They don't care about your concerns right now. In fact, it's so bad. I mean, Netanyahu just went out and said, yes, it is. We need support. But even if we don't have the support, even if the Biden administration right now stops their support, we will still continue and we will finish this. This is what we're doing, because we will never, ever allow something like October 7th to happen again. We will finish this and it will be done once and for all. We don't care what you say. This is their attitude. So you can go and cry and protest as much as you want. Bunch of idiots.
Yeah, and it's so weird to me. There's nothing that we can do to actually intervene in any way in the situation over there. And so we'll try to screw things up and make things suck for everyone else in the world who has nothing to do with it. Keep in mind, you go to Disney World with your kids and, hey, we're leaving Disney World. Free Palestine, free Palestine. What do you think that dude in his car with his kids leaving Disney World is going to do to stop Israel? Like what? What do you think? So it's just this weird situation of we can't do anything, but we still have to feel like we're doing something. So we're just going to go be annoying to everyone as much as possible. So guys, this is Queers for Palestine, and that's a guy there calling them out. We'll go and watch the rest of this clip here.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
They're making a powerful case, AP. I'm starting to agree with them after seeing this. I mean, at first I was like, oh man, it really sucks that Hamas went and killed a bunch of people and then took a bunch of hostages and then ran and hid among civilians in Gaza and hid on tunnels and hospitals and everywhere else. It really sucks that happened. But Israel has to go and get rid of these guys because these guys Hamas has vowed that they're going to launch endless October 7th like terrorist attacks until Israel's completely wiped out. And so Israel just has no choice but to go after these guys. That's what I was thinking. But after seeing Queers for Palestine block the exit of Disney World, now I don't know anymore. I'm starting to think, man, we need to ceasefire, and maybe the Jews need to just leave and give everything over to Hamas because of these Queers for Palestine right here. These bunch of really super smart, super sharp people that everyone should listen to at all times.
Yeah, now I suddenly think that that killing a bunch of people and torturing them and raping them isn't so bad after all.
Not as bad because Queers for Palestine, they're making a difference. They're making a difference here. Let's go ahead and let them finish here.
You actually are losing people. You are losing people to your cause because of this.
You get out of the road.
Okay?
45,000
correct.
dead. 45.
Hey, 45,000 dead? That's even
45.
above that. 45. I'm surprised you didn't say 45 million or something. 45,000 dead. 45,000 dead. That's above even Hamas's numbers. Anyway.
That's so insane. Hamas gives us the number 34,000 right now, and these people are going around saying 45. Not even Hamas, the terrorists themselves exaggerate this much.
Yeah. And what's crazy is no matter what ridiculous number we hear, the most insanely stupid number we've ever been given is from Mohammed Hijab with his 100-to-1 ratio. The most ridiculous, like beyond anything. I mean, keep in mind. So it's possible, guys, that it's actually close to a 1-to-1 ratio, depending on the figures you use. What we were talking about yesterday on AP's channel is that people don't know the numbers now. You're not going to know until after the dust has settled, after the war is over, and you can have numbers that are not handed to you by Hamas, right? Yes. And so, but whatever numbers you go with, it's somewhere between 1-to-1 ratio, civilian to combatant ratio as far as deaths, and 2-to-1 ratio. Any of that is spectacularly good from the perspective of anyone who's familiar with urban warfare and how it actually works when you have people hiding among civilians. This is a worse scenario than any war I can think of, where the people you're fighting are trying to maximize civilian casualties on their own side, and where you have tons of civilians on that side who actually want to die. You could tell them, hey, we're about to bomb this building, get out of them. And they say, no, we prefer death if it makes you look bad. I'm not exaggerating. They say that. We have recordings of that. We just talked about that yesterday. So that is a situation where the side you're fighting against is deliberately trying to maximize the casualties of women and children to make you look bad. Horrifying situation. If you end up with something with a 1-to-1 ratio or a 2-to-1 ratio, you have been unimaginably careful in your fighting, and yet they get condemned over it. But so think between 1-to-1 and 2-to-1. Hijab was saying it's 100-to-1. That's what he went around saying. That's what he was saying in interviews. 100-to-1. It's 100-to-1. Imagine for every one combatant they kill 100 civilians. Oh my goodness! If the trajectory continues as it is, that was where that came from. Saying if the trajectory continues as it is, they're going to have to kill 3 million Palestinians to get rid of Hamas.
That number doesn't even, that shouldn't even make sense to him if he thought about it for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculously stupid.
It's ridiculously stupid. And here's the thing. If you have a case to be made against Israel, if you have a legitimate case that you believe is a legitimate case, a legitimate and fair case, I'm open to legitimate criticisms. Why do you constantly have to lie? Why? Yeah. It's the same thing with Islam. If you believe you have the truth and that it's Islam, why do you constantly have to lie to defend it? If you believe that Israel is wrong and that you have a clear case against them, why do you have to base your claims on lies? Why? You wouldn't need to. If you have a legitimate case, you wouldn't need to base it on lies. So you wouldn't need to go around saying this is genocide when it doesn't fit any sane person's definition of genocide ever. You wouldn't need to constantly lie. You wouldn't need to do it, but you do. Why is that? I start thinking maybe you don't have an actual case.
dead.
People
45,000 dead.
now.
Genocide
Yes, you
sympathizers.
are. Because
Genocide
they got through this
sympathizers.
Genocide sympathizers.
Palestine. Free,
This is not the way. You understand that? Think a little bit. You want those people to actually.
He's telling you, if you want people to actually pay attention, like actually take you seriously, stop doing this stuff. That guy's pretty based. But here's something else, AP. So again, this is Queers for Palestine. This is Queers for Palestine. Condemning Israel, defending the Palestinians. Hey, AP, you heard of Hassan Nasrallah?
Yes.
He's the leader of Hezbollah, one of the groups that constantly attacks Israel. Got this? Everyone ready for this? This is Hassan Nasrallah, leader of Hezbollah. It's his response to Queers for Palestine. Okay, Queers for Palestine. This is who you actually want in charge. You want Hamas and Hezbollah to defeat Israel and take over that land. That's what you want. This is what you're defending here. What do studies reveal? According to studies, whoever becomes embroiled in homosexuality cannot walk out of homosexuality. They're stuck. They really are. Even if they become aware, noticed, asked for forgiveness, repented, or even cried at night, they could become aware of their situation, ask for forgiveness, repent, and even fast. This was experienced by some people. I have heard of some people and know some others abroad. This happened to them. So he's saying that once you go gay, you never go back. He says even if you try, you repent, you try your hardest, you ask for forgiveness, and you cry all night. Oh, I'm gay. Please stop me. Please stop me from being gay. You cry all night. You seek forgiveness. And he says he knows people like this.
So he's getting one thing right here, which is that, this, according to the studies, if you are gay, then it doesn't just go away. You don't just become ungay or straight.
He's saying you can't pray the gay away. That's what he's saying.
However,
that's not 100% of the truth, because I've seen people, he's seen people, I've seen people, and so on. But what I'm guessing what your studies is, they've got like statistics, and I don't know what the statistics are, but suppose they show like 89% of people who try to ungay themselves fail, and they just realize, nope, we're still gay. Something like that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So if you are gay, then you are gay. There is no changing that. You can, of course, by learning, change.
You said by.
Yeah, you can learn.
AP encourages gay people to engage in by learning. He said by learning.
You can learn not to practice that. You can learn to be different, or to do different thing, or to not act on that. But if you are gay, you are gay. That's what the studies that he's talking about say. It's not, however, such a thing that it's like a disease that you get afflicted with, and then there is no cure anymore. That's not really how it.
But that's what he's going to say. So let's see what he's going to say. So this happened to them. He's saying he knows some people. Hey, Hassan, what are you doing hanging out with all these gay dudes, huh?
Yeah, what's
fun? Yeah, what's up? And yes, I was in a room with a gay man just the other night, and he showed me that he's still gay. This happened to them. They became aware of it, started praying at night, crying, fasting, etc. But to no avail. They are stuck. Now, concerning such crimes that destroys the families and society, we have crucial provisions in Sharia. But here's the difference, because a point should be mentioned here. If a person commits adultery, so he's breaking down Sharia here. If a person commits adultery, may it be a man or a woman, it doesn't matter, man or woman, if you commit adultery, if the trajectory continues as it is, and someone commits adultery, man or woman, if they committed adultery and were unmarried, they shall be flogged. Yes, that is correct from a Sharia perspective. So in other words, if you have sex with someone, that person is married, but you're unmarried, you're unmarried, you get flogged.
أما إذا كان
And
محسنا
if they
طبعا
were
بحكم
married,
القاضي وإذا
in
ثبت
accordance with
وكذا
the
يقتل.
ruling of a judge, they shall be killed. So yes. So guys, two people have sex. The punishment depends on whether you're married or not married. If you're not married, you get flogged. If you're married, you get stoned to death.
أما في حالة
In
اللواط
case of homosexuality,
فما في فرق بين
What if
no
الزوج
distinction.
والمتزوج.
Huh? What's that?
What if 3 people? Just kidding. Go on.
Okay.
Continue.
So, pervert. You destroyed the rhythm. You destroyed his flow. He goes, okay. In case of homosexuality, Queers for Palestine, he's talking about you. In case of homosexuality. So what did he just say? If you're a man, whether you're a man or a woman, if you have sex with someone outside of marriage, and you're not married to anyone, then you get flogged. If you are married, you have sex with someone who's not your marital partner, then you will be executed. In case of homosexuality, there's no distinction.
فما في فرق بين
No
الزوج
distinction is
والمتزوج.
made between an
في
unmarried
حالة
and married
اللواط
person.
من المرة الأولى
In
حتى لو
case of
كان
homosexuality,
الزوج يقتل.
even if they're unmarried, they shall be killed.
Based.
So flogging is not an option. You'll just be executed according to Sharia. Queers for Palestine wants this guy and his followers somehow, along with Hamas, who have the exact same view. They have the exact same view. They want those people taking over Israel.
But okay, what you're not understanding, David, is that yes, they do say that gay people should be executed and that there is just no way around it, and that you should kill them. But they're only saying that because of the Zionist oppression, because of the apartheid, because they're being oppressed and all that. If they were not oppressed, if they were being left alone, and if there was no apartheid, if the Zionists were not keeping them in a concentration camp, then they would not be like this. They would not kill gay people anymore.
Yeah, they would. If
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine! Yeah, if you gave them everything they want, suddenly that would discourage them from actually implementing Sharia. Isn't this amazing? I mean, you don't have to. It's not like there's like all this difficult research to be done. Yeah, you can open up any book on Sharia, on Islamic law. You can open up the Hadiths. This stuff is not hard to find. You can listen to what they say. You can read articles on when they actually do it. You know what these guys will do to gay people. And what do gay people do? Free Palestine! Free Palestine! We want Israel wiped out so Palestinians can take over and kill all the gay people. Hey, that's us! Yay!
Woohoo!
Stupid!
That's a good sound.
All right.
I mean, I really wonder what these people would say. I mean, if you went to a march, or I guess to a protest, and these people were around, and you approached them and said, "Do you know that in these places, the people you are defending and standing up for actually kill gay people, and they say gay people should be killed? Here are a few examples." They would probably come at you with like, "Oh, get out of here! Every religion, every culture, this and that." But if you actually removed them from the place of, from the situation, from all the stress and the excitement of being part of a protest, and just sat them down and said, "Hey, listen. I know you think that there is a humanitarian situation. I know you think that there is oppression going on. I know that you think you are standing up for the right thing here. But the very people who are telling you about oppression actually believe that you, if you are under their rule, should be executed. Don't you think that there's probably something wrong on that very side that you are supporting?" I really wonder how these people would respond.
Yeah, I'd like to see that kind of interview. I don't know if anyone's done it, but how's no one doing this? Wherever Queers for Palestine is going, go up to them with a microphone or a cell phone or something like that, and just show them a couple videos. Say, hey, these are what these guys are saying they want to do, and here's what Sharia says, and you're saying you want these guys to win. Why would you want people to win who openly admit that as soon as they win and get power, they're going to kill people like you? Why? Why would you want that? Why would you think that's a good idea? And the answer is you've just been programmed with this Western victim mentality where all victims are we're all together. All the victims are all together. So if you're LGBTQ community, you're a victim of society. But the Palestinians are also victims. So you're on the same side, even though they would gladly kill you all. And you think that, but somehow you're all victims, and so you're on the same side. Even though if they were not victims and they rose to power, they would kill you. You'd be executed.
It's called intersectionality, and it's just stupid, very, very stupid. Exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I wanted to say something. What was I going to say?
I don't know. It's probably dumb.
I wanted to say this.
That's never dumb. That's always good.
However, oh yeah, there was this video that I saw earlier where somebody actually on TikTok asked this gay pro-Palestine activist, why don't you go to Gaza and say free Palestine and do your whole pro-LGBT stuff? And the response from the gay guy was, well, I would go to Gaza. I can't go to Gaza because Gaza is being bombed right now by Israeli apartheid. And that's very funny because it's kind of it's very disingenuous, and it kind of implies that if it wasn't being bombed right now, then you could go there and do that kind of stuff. However, there is always a solution. If these people want to actually try it out, you can always take a trip and go to Judea and Samaria, the West Bank, go to Ramallah, the Palestinian city, and organize a pride rally.
Let's see it. I want to see it. I would
dress up over here. Wear your bikinis and walk around in your underwear and kiss each other and hump each other in the streets and say, "Yeah, pride, love wins always." See what happens.
Yeah, and what I mean, since this is going to be a really powerful message for the world, get Daniel Hakikachu to come along with you. I'm sure he'd be glad to join you. Just ask any of the Dawa guys. Tell them what you want to do. We're Queers for Palestine. We want to go over there and have this big event over there. And just let us know how they react. I'm sure it'll be really awesome.
It will be fantastic. It will be the perfect.
Josh Perez says, what does a membership get you? Well, as of right now, you get a cool badge. But the main thing, Josh, is not every time. Over half the time when I post a video, when a video goes public, I've actually posted the video like a day earlier and just haven't released it yet. In other words, because I kind of like my video. I prefer my videos going live like around 6 a.m. on a weekday and stuff. So if it's not that time, and I'll post it and have everything ready like a day early or something like that, and then before it goes live. So that's not always the case. Sometimes something is time sensitive. If something happens and I make a quick video about it, then you want it to go out as quick as possible. But sometimes over half the time I've actually posted my video early. And so one of the things is when I post a video, I now send it out to channel members. So they actually get to see this stuff. Probably half my videos they'll get to see beforehand. They'll get to see ahead of time. So stuff like that. A couple of super chats.
What it also gets you, by the way, is that member chats, when they are made, they are more highlighted. You can see them; they are highlighted.
Yeah, they're more based. They're more based and highlighted. That's true.
More high based. Yeah.
All right, couple super chats. Is David going for the Lonnie Frisbee look? No. You'll see what this look is going to do, though. Catch me, Lonnie Frisbee. He was a guy who helped start like Calvary Chapels out in. He was kind of he was a hippie. He was a hippie back in like the 70s.
You were gonna say "Catch Me Outside."
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say, guys, you see these flowing locks? It's predicted now. Mark it down somewhere. Save the spot. Save the clip. I'm making a prediction that these beautiful flowing locks in the very near future are going to lead to a great deal of humiliation for the Prophet of Islam. How so? Well, wait and you will find out. Come back a little later and tell me I'm wrong after it all happens. You won't. Because you'll say, oh my goodness.
Free Palestine.
How do you suggest telling non-Muslims about the evil of Islam? Everyone I talk to seems to just call me an Islamophobic Zionist without listening. Yeah, I would say read Greg Kokel's book Tactics. It's about getting the same message across by asking questions. And it affects the person's cycle. It specifically works well with people who are going to flip out on you for saying something. So the idea here is if you say, hey, how can you support this when Islam calls for the violent subjugation of the entire world? And they go, oh, you're an Islamophobe, you're a bigot, blah, 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 you're an Islamophobic Zionist. You could get the same information across by saying, oh, okay, so you don't think Islam's very bad? I'll just wonder, because you're a smart person. What do you think about this passage right here? And have a passage like Muhammad saying that I've been commanded to fight people until they say there's no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. Say, how do you interpret that? Notice you haven't made any claim. All you've done is ask that person for his view of that. And he might still flip out on you, but I mean, if he starts, whoa, you're an Islamophobe. Wait, I haven't said anything about it. I asked you for your perspective. What do you think about this? Just tell me what you think about that. And whatever the person says, well, I think that was just for that time. And who are we to judge another person's culture? Okay, thanks for that. What do you think about this right here, where it says that Muhammad allowed his followers to beat their wives until their skin turned green for being bad wives. So how do you interpret that? Just do that. And so it just comes across different as if you come up to, hey, Muhammad's a wife beater, blah, 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 versus, hey, what do you think about this? It's more likely to get into the person's head before he flips out. Because keep in mind, if you're dealing with someone, because look at what you asked. How do you get this across to non-Muslims about some of the problems with Islam? You'll actually get more information into the person's head before he flips out if you're coming across by asking him for his view of some of these passages than if you just come in guns blazing with information about Muhammad. And if that's your goal, if your goal is to get information in your head, well, using this, you might be able to get to 3 or 4 or 5 examples before the person flips out. And then the person flips out at you, but the person's gone home. But now that person knows, wow, Muhammad would allow his followers to beat their wives until their skin turns green? Huh, that guy had sex with a prepubescent 9-year-old girl? Darn,
But what if that person's head is empty?
Well, then you're dealing with a college protester.
You know what's so sickening? How the vast majority of people who nowadays just call you a Zionist are actually just either calling you a Jew, which is to them a derogatory thing, or they're calling you somebody who defends Jews or who doesn't hate Jews. And then there are also, of course, the others who don't really understand what's going on. They just think it's a trend right now to support Palestine, who join in on that and making themselves
super cool.
guilty. Yeah, it makes it super cool
and based.
Yeah.
The most base thing in the world is to just go along with whatever people are telling you have to do, even if you have no idea why.
It's the smartest thing too. Yeah, this is what smart people do, is actually just
perfect move
to follow whatever the crowd is doing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As long as you follow whatever the crowd is screaming at you, then you're a good guy. Just keep that in mind, guys.
It makes you a free thinker.
It makes you based. Allah knows best takes on a different meaning when you realize how sex addicted Muhammad was, and that to know has sexual connotations in the Bible. Yeah, I would say, and he knew her. It's referring to like intimate knowledge. And so Allah knows best would sound different if you're interpreting it. No, Muhammad knows best. Hey, David Wood, how did you meet Mike Lacona? I wish you guys recorded his dream team sessions with the bill. Yeah, so do I. That was way before there were any even thoughts of like YouTube or anything like that. But yeah, I wish too, because we sat there through an entire presentation by Nabil on the scientific miracles of Islam. To be fair, I still have the emails because he would say things and I'm like, I'm going to go look that up. Because if I didn't know, I would say, I'm going to look that up and I'm going to get back to you later. Well, I would get back to him on emails, but I still have the emails. Like, hey, why'd you say this when I just looked up the passage and here's what it actually says? I'm supposed to take this seriously? I still have those emails and so on. But yeah, it would have been cool to have those Nabil's arguments for Islam from back in the day. But keep in mind, I mean, back then we weren't thinking like, oh, this could be important for future generations and so on, right? We're just Sahih Muslim 2944. You see, the Jews of Iran. You got the Jews of Iran?
Oh yeah, that's the thing. The Dajjal would be followed by 70,000 Jews of Isfahan wearing Persian shawls. Isfahan is a place in Iran. Yeah.
Nice.
The
D Wood,
Jews
you got a great
will follow the Dajjal. Yeah.
D Wood, you got a great hairline for your age. Lucky. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm almost 50. What's interesting is because all the men in my family, with the exception of my mom's dad, who actually lived, all the guys in my family died around 50. So I'm about there. So I don't know if we go bald at some point or what. I just have no idea. I have no information to go on with my family because they all died like right around this age. But so I guess we'll find out. Find out if I go bald or something like that. It'll be cool.
That'll be beast.
Joshua said, how do I become a member? I've only been able to get a gifted membership on AP's channel. Is Allah playing a trick on me? I do not know how that works, Joshua. I mean, I know how to become a member on people's channel. I've never like claimed one of the gifted memberships. So yeah, I don't know how that works. There's an alternative timeline. What?
You can't decide that. So if somebody gifts memberships, it just randomly distributes it to people who are watching right now.
It does?
Yeah, I think that's what it does.
That's pretty cool. You don't have to claim it at all? Huh.
No.
So wait, someone who doesn't want to be a member could end up being a member?
I think so.
Hey, there's an alternative timeline where D. Wood is an atheist and AP is a Christian. How does their relationship and show look like? AP would be humiliated if he tries to defend Jesus around me.
This is actually the reality. Isn't that what people say? That that I'm actually a secret Christian and you are actually a secret atheist.
Yeah. Hey, you know what's funny? Back in college, so this is undergrad. I was I don't even want to say it because it sounds nerdy, but it was cool because you're trying to build credentials and stuff. But anyway, I was the president of the Philosophy Honor Society, which is one of the nerdiest things I can say about myself ever. But I wanted control over the philosophy students, so that's what I did. Anyway, so I made this meeting called Philosophy Slam, where it actually ended up in the paper. Like the newspapers came and interviewed us because we had this. It was like a philosophy free for all. Like people are just going at it full force, and we would do cool things like I would say I had a timer, and we would have some topic, and so I would set the timer for like 12 minutes or something like that. And I would say, okay, for the next 12 minutes, everyone argue your position, and we'd be arguing stuff like this. And I'd say, okay, once the alarm goes off, you have to change your position to argue the opposite of what you actually believe. So it's like an exercise and like being able to see things from another person's perspective. And so we'd be arguing, and it would be like there was a Jewish girl there named what was her name? Darn, I think her name was Rebecca too. Why is every Jewish girl I've ever met named Rebecca? But she ended up, the resurrection of Jesus came up, and she actually started arguing for the resurrection of Jesus because it was on opposite time, and so on. But anyway, that's why we ended up getting interviewed with the papers, because people thought this was all all fun and entertaining. But we should do something. We should get a couple people, like couple atheists, couple Christians, and like do that at some point where we argue our positions, but then like every certain amount of time we have to switch positions and then argue the other person's. And keep in mind, guys, it's not no one there. And I can't think of anyone who did it at the meeting. Everyone understood you're like steel manning the opponent's position. You're not trying to like argue it and make it look stupid. You're trying to argue it to the best of your ability. And so there would be times that I'd be like arguing against the existence of God. There was matter of fact, it was in the newspaper. I should go find it. I saved that newspaper article. There was a time where the timer went off, like when I was in mid sentence, and I was arguing for the atheist view of something, and the timer went off, and I instantly switched to the opposite position. I said, which is why no one should believe any of this nonsense I just said. And so anyway, it was fun. Anyway, that might be. I think it's a good exercise.
That's fun. Sounds very nerdy.
It was pretty. I tried to make philosophy less nerdy by making it more like it was more like WWF promos in there, like wrestling promos. You think you could come with the blah blah blah? What's called Philosophy Slam. We need to all subscribe to Naik's channel. Get him over 4 million. It would be such a shame to lose his voice against Islam. That's true. Hey, we should do something where we try to help guys that we don't want to lose because they help us so much.
Please subscribe to Zakir Naik's channel.
Zakir Naik's views due to algorithm change. It hit many YouTubers. No, that's not his problem. Algorithm changes can affect people, but the algorithm now is basically, you see, back in the day, you have your subscribers and then you post a video and it goes out to your subscribers and so on. Now it changes. Now it has an entire system in place. Your subscriber count is far less significant than it used to be because YouTube, when you post a new video, YouTube will send that video out to people who've been watching your videos pretty recently. So people who have been keeping up with you and stuff. It will send that video out. It will test their reaction. It will test their reaction. So how many people who've been watching your videos click on your video? And then once they click on your video, how long do they watch? This shows how interested they are. And then based on that information, the algorithm will decide to send it on to more people or not. If you're getting 734 views on a video, that means when YouTube sends it out to people who've been watching your video in recent months, and it's not sending it out to any other people, it means no one's interested anymore. They're not even clicking on it. Your regular viewers are not clicking on your stuff anymore. So guys, I mean, there's been algorithm changes. I burned my entire channel almost to the ground. I burned like 98% of my videos I took down, left a couple up just so there was still some content there, gave it away, started a new channel. I get the same, if not more, views on a video than I used to. Why? The algorithm changed. So what's Zakir Naik's excuse? He's got 4 million subscribers. Can barely get 1/10 of 1% to watch him. Something else has happened other than the algorithm.
He just really became uninteresting. It's and it happened so quickly. Just a few years ago. I mean, when I started out with my channel, it was the year that I started. It was the thing to talk about Zakir Naik. Everyone was always like, "Oh, why don't you respond to Zakir Naik? How about you talk about Zakir? How about you talk to Zakir Naik?" Like everyone was saying the same thing over and over again. And I made a video about Zakir Naik, and it was very popular. Nowadays, nobody cares about Zakir Naik. I don't feel the need to make a video about
He's been replaced, guys. He's been replaced. In other words, if you are a Muslim and you're going online to look up videos about dealing with stuff, guess what? You're watching Muhammad Hijab or Ali Dawa or someone like that. That's who you're watching now. He's been replaced.
This is the great replacement. It's true. See?
Yeah. So guess what? Non-Muslims, when we want to learn about Islam, we're not going to Zakir Naik. We think the guy's a compulsive liar. Why would we listen to him? Except to go find something he said to show how stupid and deceptive it is. So your viewers are going to come down to Muslims. But the Muslim community now has people who are their champion. Hey, we're going to kill the apostates. We're going to do this and that. Who are you going to for that? You're going to Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawa and Daniel Hakikachu and these kinds of guys. So you've been replaced. Zakir Naik has been replaced with people who are a more accurate reflection of what Islam actually teaches. Belgium's new law. Pimps may file a complaint against workers who refuse sex. Who refuse sex more than 10 times in 6 months, and the government will intervene. AP's continent, everyone.
Wait, what?
Points out that that's your continent.
Against workers who refuse sex more than 10 times in 6 months, and government will intervene.
And that's the continent where you grew up. Coincidence? No. Draw your own conclusions.
Based continent.
I don't understand. Why does the government need to intervene? Any pimp worthy of the name would not need the government to intervene.
Because
if you need to call on the government to help you, you're not a real pimp. That's all I'm saying.
Because in countries where they legalize prostitution, they are very much supposedly eliminating the factor of illegally, pimps, brutalizing and abusing.
Yeah, that's the idea. The idea is it can either be this. The idea is it can either be this illegal criminal enterprise where these guys are doing this stuff, or we can make it all legal and then It's not all underground behind the scenes stuff.
The issue is that from what I have seen so far, it's not really. There is some change, but it doesn't really help to get the situation very much under control, as far as I've seen.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's
I haven't looked
it's a
very much.
similar view with drugs. People say, "Oh, just legalize the drugs, and then they can be regulated by the government, and then it will get better than when it's all criminal." And it doesn't. It doesn't actually fix the problems. There's an answer to that. Jesus is finally tired of Islam and evidently withdrawing his tolerance for this garbage of peace. You see, that's my view, roughly. I think that the Almighty has delivered Zakir Naik into our hands. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for helping get past the thoughts of suicide recently. Yes, don't commit suicide. Oh, wait, here we go. David gave up scrolling through Naik's videos. You see, you gave up. You're finished, boy. After going through like 200 videos looking for one that broke 20,000, I gave up. 1 year ago, 2.2 million for masturbation, not haram. Wait, what? 1 year ago, 2.2 million for masturbation, not haram. I don't know what that means. Oh, I think this person's talking about, okay. Yeah, I think this person's talking about a Zakir Naik video. So a year ago, he had, apparently according to this, a year ago, he had a big video, 2.2 million. Okay, how do you go? That's the question. 2.2 million a year ago, assuming this is right. I have no reason to think that it's wrong. So apparently if I were to scroll back over a year ago, then I would get to a popular video of his, 2.2 million, talking about whacking it. Zakir Naik, if you want to jumpstart your YouTube channel, apparently just start talking about bopping the baloney to all your Muslim fans, since that's what they're interested in.
There was one of those big videos. That's true. I remember.
You see where their heads are, ladies and gentlemen. You see where their heads are.
Okay, so I just looked it up. It's actually just that the government provides employment, so contracts, and it's basically it's not about pimping. It's that if somebody works somewhere, then they can freely refuse sexual interactions at certain times. But if they do this more than 10 times, then their contract with their employer can get into can be problematic. But they also have the right, sex workers can also end their contract at any time with no notice period and do not lose their right to unemployment benefits. So it's actually a special privilege, because other people who are employed under different circumstances in different sectors don't have such rights. But yeah.
Wait, did the government or that article say whether or not pimping is easy?
I don't think so.
Because I've heard that pimping ain't easy.
I don't think it challenges that. Yeah.
Let's see. Zakir Naik is very scared of Adam Seeker. Zakir Naik, as far as I can tell, scared of everyone. I mean, he's coming to the end of his career. If he could actually have one actual debate with an actual Christian debater, I'm sure people would love to see it. Instead, he's going out with a fizzle.
He's scared of his own shadow.
He's humiliated. All right, passage to look up, AP. Mr. Bukhari. Mr. Bukhari. I keep trying to do your perfect version of him instead of my mockery of him. Mr. Bukhari, all female research should read Sahih Muslim 1436d, vomit.
Mr. Bukhari.
What's that say?
Mr. Bukhari. It says, when a woman spends the night away from the bed of her husband, the angels curse her until... Wait a minute, that's not the right one. Hold on. It's actually D, not A. Is that it? Is that the same thing?
That's a good one, too.
Yeah. When a man invites his wife to his bed and she does not come, and he spends the night being angry with her, the angels curse her until morning.
You see?
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yep. And that's actually better than some of the other passages about women.
That's what
You need to be pen pals with Nick Fuentes. Yeah, that's what Nick Fuentes means. Hey, you should get Jordan Peterson. Nick, get a Jewish pen pal, eh? Sit down. Tim Hortons. Have a cup of coffee. Drink some maple syrup, eh? Then
I think somebody recently told him to have a conversation with Nick Fuentes, and he said something really harsh in response.
what? He didn't use his pen pal plan? Wait a minute.
No.
He's got his pen pal, but he thinks being a pen pal will make a difference that will actually bring peace between Sunnis and Shias and Sunnis and Shias and Jews and Sunnis and Shias and Christians. He thinks this is the key. This is what will solve the problem. But he doesn't think he can deal with Nick Fuentes like that?
See? Oh, wait a minute. This is what I found it. Somebody asked him, Jordan, when are you going to have a conversation with Nick Fuentes? And Jordan Peterson said, when hell freezes over.
That's sad. You got to share that and post a response and just say, what? Why not have him as a pen pal?
Yeah.
Everyone should get a groiper as a pen pal, eh? If you want to deal with it. That's how
Find
we deal
the
with things.
Groiper pen pal.
I'm ashamed to admit there was a time I thought Zakir Naik was a genius. I was ignorant in my before Christ era. Yeah. And he comes across that way. And if you look at him, if you follow the trajectory, D-Dot figured out a methodology and then taught Zakir Naik. And the methodology is memorize a bunch of references. And whenever anyone asks you something, just fire off references. So you sit there with flashcards. That's how he actually did it. Sits there with flashcards, memorizing lists of references so that he can fire stuff off. And when you do that after a while, you just sound like you have a brain like a computer, even though it's just, you put in a lot of work at the beginning. But if you look at his arguments, you can do his videos. His responses to questions are almost like word for word. Sometimes they are word for word, exactly the same as Ahmed Deedat. He memorized them, and they're all. Keep in mind, they're all stupid. They're saying the stupidest things anyone has ever said at all. And anyone who's knowledgeable about the topic knows this is complete nonsense. But it just sounds convincing to an audience who doesn't know anything, and that was the target audience. We'll find audiences who know absolutely nothing that we're talking about, and we sound confident and persuasive because we're constantly, in this verse and that verse and this verse, you sound knowledgeable, even though you're completing. But they're the ones who set it up as a goal. Like, as long as you sound like you know what you're talking about, that's all that matters. Because you can be spouting complete idiotic nonsense. The next generation took it to another level. Well, we could be saying way dumber stuff and sounding way more confident. We could be saying way dumber stuff, but sound way more confident than you guys, like thumping our chests even more, insulting everyone. And that works. They took it to the next level. And now Zakir Naik is obsolete. He's an obsolete model.
Allah's subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, chapter number 5, verse number 64, that the Prophet liked sex with little girls. Alhamdulillah.
And everyone should do it too, because we all take him as a pattern of conduct.
Even as an atheist, I can see the world needs Jesus. Christianity for the win. When I still see that, guys, I think FTW, when I was a kid, meant something totally different. It meant F the world. But for the win now. Still don't buy into your God thing for me, but more power to y'all. And we've talked about that a lot from an atheist perspective. It doesn't make sense to care a lot about what other people believe about the afterlife or about how they're supposed to live, unless it's having some sort of negative impact on you and on the world and so on. Then it makes perfect sense too. Because if someone's dying and says, "Hey, I believe I'm going to Allah," what do I care?
How dare you believe that? How dare you?
But if someone's believes something is like that's going to cause them to burn your house down, okay, now it makes sense that I have to oppose this and so on. And so what's interesting is if you go back, 15, 20 years, the new atheists, they come along. Actually, religion is all bad. You have to attack all religion. It's all bad. Some is worse, but it's all bad. So attack it all. And now it looks like some of them are thinking, I don't know, maybe Christianity was not bad for us. Maybe it was a good thing for us. And we didn't realize it. And so now the question is, what are you going to do? What are you going to do now? Should be interesting.
I think even Ricky Gervais had a change of heart over the last years.
Did he? Because I haven't been following him.
Because prior, in the past, his whole attitude was like, I don't want to lie. And I don't want to tell somebody you're going to go to heaven.
I don't want to lie.
But
It's
you know,
bollocks,
but
isn't
no-
it?
But nowadays, I think nowadays he thinks, you know, if some people just need it, if it's comforting, why not, or something like that. I think he had a slight change of heart there, as far as I remember. Need to look that up again.
Yeah, and I think lots of, especially, I think it's going to happen way more in the UK right now, because you had a lot of really, really, really prolific atheists in the UK for the past couple of decades, and there I think it's gonna be hitting them more and more as you walk to London. You're like, man, that bulwark theory of Richard Dawkins, because even though that's Dawkins saw this way before everyone else did. You're going back to like 2010, 2011 when he's saying Christianity may have been stopping something else that's worse from taking us over. And you're looking and it's taking you over. And so I don't know, he seems to be right. So from an atheist perspective, like specifically British, because it's a different situation here in like the US and other places. But from a British perspective, if, hey, we didn't like Christianity because we didn't believe in this stuff and we thought it's all dumb and we thought they're going to interfere with science and stuff. But if what they believed was actually keeping them strong enough to not let us be taken over by Europe. So in other words, say what you want about Christians, but for 14 centuries, they said, we're not letting that in. It's not taking over. It's not going to happen. And it never did. 14 centuries of Islam trying to take over Europe never happened. Now, all of a sudden, the moment large numbers of Christians start becoming atheists, you can't give Islam. I mean, you can't bring Islam in fast enough. And now you walk into places that you love, cities that you once loved, and you look around and going, what the heck did we just do? It doesn't seem like we had a good plan in place.
Because Western people, after their ancestors defended these lands for so long, suddenly go, come right in, sit down, make yourself at home. It's pretty nice over here. I'm sure you can add a lot of good things. This is just terrible. It's just terrible. Oh yeah,
Fun stuff.
Gideon's World was just saying that, was just pointing out. I posted a Bible verse earlier on Twitter.
Powerful.
And
was it Ecclesiastes?
Everything's meaningless,
No.
like on my channel.
No, it was actually the Deuteronomy verse about choosing life, and now I will never ever get rid of the allegations that I'm actually a secret Christian.
Or secret Jew.
Yes, it could also be.
It doesn't, quoting Deuteronomy does not mean that he's a secret Christian, people. It means that he's all about the shekels.
Yes. It is ridiculous. Of course, I'm not a secret Christian just because I quote the Bible. I could also be a secret Jew. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I don't know how to gift memberships. I love you both. Bye bye. Goats aren't allowed to gift memberships.
And goats don't use words.
Razi, yeah, they do. They say that counts as a word. You could write it out.
No, pretty sure what they actually say is
daily jizya, so my soul keeps fighting atheism. That's good. Got to keep doing it. All right, we still have a bunch of super chats, but we do want to get to some of these other topics. So let's get into some super dope stuff. In fact, let's go ahead and check out this article here. Got an article, AP.
Started.
We've been noticing some positive changes in Saudi Arabia with regard to the issue of women's rights. It wasn't too long ago they started allowing women to drive and so on. I have a theory about some of these things that are still going on that look like a throwback to what we'd come to hear about Saudi Arabia for so long. But let's go ahead and read a little bit of this article here. Saudi women's rights activist sentenced to 11 years in jail, rights group says. And that's her in Saudi Arabia. That's how she was dressed in Saudi Arabia.
Based.
Very based. It just sucks that people like this, it just sucks when people who have courage. That's what she's punished for, right? She's punished for
Why
having.
why is she walking around naked? Look at this.
She's punished for having the virtue of courage, right? So she looks around and says, "Hey, look, I don't want to dress like that. You say you're making changes, fine. Let's live like it." And then they throw her in. They lock her up for 11 years. But let's go see. So this is from CNN. Human rights groups are calling for the release of a Saudi woman who they say has been sentenced to 11 years in prison for supporting women's rights and for the way she dressed. That's actually a thing. She wasn't dressed. And keep in mind, she's not dressed overly provocatively or anything like that. She's just not wearing a hijab, burqa, niqab, any of that stuff.
But first of all, I could see her arms and also her a little bit of her chest.
Yes,
So
we
this
can
is
see your
unexpected.
arms. That will give us a boner. You can't do that. It's responsible. You're responsible for us getting erections.
Responsible for my boner, I have a boner. You have to go to jail.
It's awful. It's awful. I can't control myself. I've never learned self-control. Of all the things our religion teaches,
dare you give me a
self-control,
boner.
self-control ain't one of them.
Manahel Al-Otaibi, a 29-year-old fitness instructor. Can you imagine being a fitness instructor and trying to wear a burqa or something? And women's rights activist was sentenced during a secret hearing before the kingdom's specialized criminal court on January 9th, 2024. So this is actually a few months ago. Amnesty International and the London-based Saudi rights organization ALQST said in a joint statement Tuesday. However, the decision to imprison Al-Otaibi only surfaced weeks later. So they did it quietly. They locked her up quietly, and people didn't find out about it till later. After the Saudi government replied to a request by United Nations Special Rapporteurs for information about the case, the watchdogs say. So you actually had to have the UN say, hey, what's going on with this? Before Saudi said, oh, yeah, we locked her up for 11 years. Al-Otaibi stands accused of terrorist offenses and was arrested in accordance with the law under a legally valid warrant. Saudi Arabia's mission to Geneva said in a letter in January in response to the UN request. We'll read a little bit more of this article. Amnesty and ALQST allege Al-Otaibi's charges are related solely to her choice of clothing and expression of her views online, including calling on social media for an end to Saudi Arabia's male guardianship system, publishing videos of herself wearing indecent clothes and going to the shops without wearing an abaya. So
I really wonder what indecent clothes they're talking about. I bet it's like
I bet it's like
mild.
yeah, I bet it's like what we just saw. She's wearing some overalls and a t-shirt. And so these are the charges, guys. This is not, she didn't go around like stabbing someone or something like that. It's her choice of clothing, expressing her views online, calling on social media for an end to Saudi Arabia's male guardianship system. So she's publishing videos of herself wearing indecent clothes. So that would be like normal clothing, and saying that there needs to be an end to this male guardianship system. Her sister, Fauzia, faces similar charges, but was able to flee Saudi Arabia after she was summoned for questioning in 2022. They said, awesome. Glad you got out of there, Fauzia. Did you catch that? She's summoned for questioning in 2022. She said, no, don't trust these guys. And she got out of there. Smart.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia's authorities must immediately and unconditionally release Manahel Al-Otaibi, as the decision to imprison her directly contradicts the authorities' narrative of reform and women's empowerment, Amnesty and ILQST said. Manahel's conviction and 11-year sentence is an appalling and cruel injustice, said Bisan Faki. Amnesty International's blah, blah, blah. With this sentence, the Saudi authorities have exposed the hollowness of their much-touted women's rights reforms in recent years and demonstrated their chilling commitment to silencing peaceful dissent. So Saudi has been saying, hey, we're fixing the problem with women. All you nations of the world, check it out. We're fixing all these things. And then they lock up a girl for not for the way she's dressed and for saying that we need to do something about this system of male guardianship where you can't walk around without a man having you on a leash, basically. All right, AP, what are your thoughts on that? What's going on?
So she's forcibly disappeared, taken in for questioning, then completely cut off from the outside world, completely cut off from her family. Her family had no idea where she is, what's going on. Human rights organizations had to step in to force Saudi Arabia to basically release information on what's happening, on what they did to this woman, and she is locked up and held just because she is calling for the whole male guardianship thing to be stopped and for more freedom. And yeah, I just checked what they're talking about when they say indecent clothing. What they're talking about is regular gym clothing.
What do you think? Because we haven't discussed this or anything. What do you think as far as the government has been trying to say to the world? Hey, we're fixing this. So they've been trying to show the world that they're actually changing. And I have to take it seriously with regard to the prince. I mean, even things like bringing in Iggy Azalea and stuff like that. Keep in mind, it doesn't mean I like I don't know any Iggy Azalea songs or whatever, but having her like twerk on stage is like, okay, I think you are actually changing Saudi Arabia right now. You're doing something different. But I mean, like, how do you have Iggy Azalea twerking on stage saying worship the goddess and then tell this girl, oh, hey, you got some overalls on, so we're locking you up for 11 years. Any theories on what's going on? I have one theory.
Because on one hand, they're trying to appeal to the public and to the world, where they make a spectacle of organizing an international an event, a festival, and inviting celebrities from around the world, especially from America, to come and twerk and put on a show. On the other hand, privately, as you can see, this is the information here didn't even get out before Amnesty stepped in. Privately, they lock a woman up, and there is a factor here, which is it's just clear arrogance that is part of this culture, which is, yes, the regime, the monarchy, the royal family, they might change things as they see fit, but if a regular person, a common person, especially a woman, dares to come out and suggest changes, this is basically like rebellion, and they will lock her up and then use all kinds of different things which they are supposedly relaxing in the country against her to then charge her. And I don't know, I never really trusted the Saudi Arabian process of reformation and whatever it is. I don't trust the prince. I don't trust him a little bit.
Yeah, I think there are basically a couple of possibilities here. So one is that it's fake. They're trying to put on a show for the world. So all the literally the shows that they're putting on are actually it's to make themselves look good in the eyes of the world, so they don't become the focus of attention for look at this place and what it does to women. So that's one possibility. Is it's fake. So behind the scenes, they don't really believe what they're saying, but as far as on the world stage, they're trying to make themselves look good. That's a possibility. Another possibility is you have people who legitimately want reform and others who don't, and that there's a conflict going on. And so you might have the crown prince. There's a theory that the crown prince is actually a closet atheist and he's trying to fix it. But with that said, you're still going to have police officers and judges and so on who are still on the traditional end of the spectrum. And so there can be a kind of conflict going on, meaning that the crown prince isn't the guy who actually goes out and decides who to arrest and what the sentence is and so on. That still goes through the courts. Well, some of those courts can be pretty darn conservative. So there could be a conflict going on where courts are still locking people up for not following the rules and so on. But I don't know. Just going to have to see more. It's just a situation where I can't look at anyone and say, I trust that person. There's no one I trust over there. Because if someone says, hey guys, we're making changes here. Well, that could totally be you trying to put on a show, or you could be sincere and you're actually sincerely trying to make changes. I don't know what it is. I have to keep my eyes on you a bit longer to find out whether I take you seriously. But I have to say, red flags go up when you say, "Oh, we're making all these changes," and oh, by the way, we just locked up this girl for 11 years for wearing overalls.
And doing so secretly. She was sentenced to 11 years by an anti-terrorism court. By an anti-terrorism court for her choice of clothing and for her support for women's rights, which is a charge that is part of basically like separatism, like rebellion, like riling up the population, disobedience. Because in Saudi Arabia, you have to be obedient. You can't trust these people. You can't trust this culture. You can't trust this religion. You can't trust people. You can't trust these governments in this region, in this culture, in any way. It's, I don't know. Whenever people say, "Oh, they're actually making good steps. They are liberalizing things." Okay, yeah, cool, nice, good to see, very good to see, but I just don't trust him. And here's just another sign why. I mean, just look it up, everybody. I mean, it's look up her name, Manal al-Otaibi, and her social media profile, or just Google her name and indecent clothes, and you will see what they mean by indecent clothes. That what they're talking about is not somebody being like dancing on video with her underwear and doing pornographic moves. No, what they're talking about is a regular woman just giving instructional videos with regular gym clothing. That's why she's going to jail for 11 years.
She deserves every second of it, if you ask me. No, just kidding, guys. I guess it's just. I guess we're going to see this play out. I guess we're going to keep seeing groups like Amnesty International and so on. Hey, if you're really doing the things you say you're doing, you need to release people like this, and we'll see how seriously we can take them in response. So we'll see. Do they start releasing some of these people and saying, "Hey, sorry, the courts are not in line with the goals of the leaders of the country, and so." We're gonna let the courts know you don't lock people up for this stuff anymore. We're gonna find out. The point is, we'll find out.
You just can't trust the Arab nations. That's it.
You quit saying all this racist stuff. Are you familiar with Lloyd de? I never know how to pronounce his name. Lord De Jong. Sam Shamoon had him on his channel. De Jong has a video. History versus Islam, Muslim Nazi on Yoel's Hangouts. No, I've seen the name tons of times. I'm not familiar with him, but I am interested in the topic of history versus Islam. Yeah, so I don't know enough to comment now. Dr. David Dizzle, this animosity for the super mega nerd psychopath Mike Winger is because he humiliated you in the 2019 Christian Apologetics bracket.
Oh, yeah, I think
Well, that was actually how I became familiar with him. Hey, you know what? This is funny, AP. So years ago, it's 2019, they had this funny thing where they have the Apologetics March Madness. So they have this bracket, and they list all the Christian apologists, and they'll pit one Christian apologist versus another, and they'll tell people to vote. They'll tell people to vote on who's going to win. And then that decides who wins. So they'll have like William Lane Craig versus John Lennox or something like that. And then people have to pick who wins, who's a better apologist. And then that person advances and stuff. And then they get to like the greatest apologist and so on. Anyway, I saw a video, and it's by this guy, Mike Winger, had no clue who he was. And he's like, hey guys, everyone go vote for me. Go vote for me. He, I'm going to vote for me. He was up against me. And I'm like, this guy doesn't stand a chance, man. No one knows who he is. Everyone knows who I am. So I just kind of let it slide. And then I eventually said like, hey guys, this guy's thinks he can beat me and stuff. But then he took that and he like cut clips out of it to make it look I was saying vote for him and stuff. And then he circulated that. And then he ended up winning. A guy no one had ever heard of ended up winning. And so, yes, I realized back then, ladies and gentlemen, that was the first kind of hint that I was dealing with the total psychopath who's just out for his own aggrandizement, and he wants to put other people down and destroy other apologists just to advance his own career. So I got kind of a vibe that we're dealing with a pretty terrible person there. But over time, I realized that was like total understatement. We are dealing with someone who is a complete evil psychopath who may possibly, I wouldn't surprise me if this dude has like 13 severed human heads in the freezer in his garage.
Well,
Would not
so
surprise
do
me
I.
one bit.
But that doesn't mean I'm a psychopath. I
Well,
just like to
you're an
eat.
atheist. There's nothing in atheism to stop you from doing it.
Have to eat somehow.
Yeah. I finally managed to catch you live. I wanted to say thank you not only for supporting our people by speaking the truth, but also for being a continued source of entertainment for me, Toda.
Thank you.
Supporting
Thank
our
you.
people. What do you think? What people does she meet?
Jewish
Oh,
people.
Jewish
because she
people,
said
yeah.
Toda.
Because we support lots of
Toda-
people.
Toda means thank you in Hebrew.
Yes, we are going to. And guys, keep in mind the war hopefully will soon be over. Hopefully Hamas will be crushed, never to return, and so on. But you'll have a lot of people who are going to try to keep the rage going. So the point is, our work does not end, ladies and gentlemen, when Hamas is crushed.
Yes.
It will seem like something we're going to have to do for the rest of our lives.
I'm kind of
we will.
really supporting Israel here and Jewish people here, and just the fact that so many people get kind of angry about it and are like, "Oh, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? The Jews," just makes me want to go even more and more and more in support and defend these people more and more and more and more openly. Say, I stand with Israel. How about?
Yeah, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind, if you were just like saying you disagree with them or something like that, like I disagree with Russia, I disagree with Israel, I disagree with this, I disagree with that, that would be one thing. When you're constantly saying from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, and we know what that means, you're talking about wiping them out. Like you're the ones who are we need to jump in on this. And so there are lots of people like that on the world. Like you understand, the consequences here are really, really serious. They're really, really serious. You have people who actually want to wipe out Jews, who actually their goal in life is to completely exterminate an entire people, which other people have tried before. And we look back in history and say, why did people not take that more seriously when it was happening so that they could stop it? And you think, okay, well, we're in that situation. We're in the exact same situation right now. We're in the exact same situation that people back then were in, as far as people sitting around and not jumping in. So yeah, you definitely want to do as much as you can. Mosh says, please check a short 4-minute clip. Man who escaped Gaza. College anti-war protest was on News Nation. When Gazans aren't afraid, they speak the truth. We're not going to watch that right now, Mosh, because we've got a bunch of stuff, but I am screenshotting the name of that video. And next time I'm up, we will check that out. I will check that out first, because when I bring in videos, I like to adjust the volumes and stuff, because sometimes videos are too quiet and stuff like that. So I'll check that out. First Black Lives Matter, then anti-First Amendment, now gay-free Palestine. Yeah, it's just one awesome, brilliant thing after the next.
Gay-free Palestine.
Wow, we have the actual Richard Dawkins here finally. This sheikh.
Oh, it's a
This sheikh told me that the Quran says to judge based on the laws that were preserved, but the Torah and the Gospel were not in whole preserved. Ask the sheikh where he sees that. Ask the sheikh where. Chapter and verse. Sheikh. It's simple. It's a simple question. Whenever he's saying, say, show me the verses. And when he gives you some verses, actually read it in context. As a matter of fact, if you're talking to a sheikh, that's cool. If you actually are, if you know a sheikh that you can ask questions, whatever passages he brings up, say, okay, let me jot these down. I'm going to go look at them, make sure I read them in context and stuff like that, and then I'll get back to you. There's nothing in the Quran that actually says that. In fact, I would say it makes zero sense for the Quran to say to Jews and Christians, you have no ground to stand upon unless you stand upon the Torah and the Gospel. If those are corrupt books with a couple of reliable things and the rest have been corrupted, it makes no sense. You have no ground to stand upon but this hopelessly corrupt book. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. So yeah, ask him what he's talking about, because Richard Dawkins, it's glad you're finally learning more about Islam. But there is no coherent position on this.
Ask him, why are you shaking?
Yeah, why are you shaking? How much of their own time and money will these protesting commie propaganda sponges spend on helping rebuild Gaza?
Yes.
No, Israel has to do it.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting about everyone like freaking out about Rafah. No, look, they're going into Rafah. Yeah, to get it over with. Good, get it over with. Then you can focus on rebuilding. Yes. Cenk Uyghur, proof Turkey is the armpit of Earth. Red Van Winkle equals AP is okay, I guess. Hatun Tosh rescues you both and adds deodorant to the armpit of the Earth. So he's pointing out
That's-
that given
This is a good.
Yeah, given some Turkish people, you think Turkey is indeed the armpit of the earth, but you see someone like Hatu and you say, wait a minute, they're not all bad. So it's like something refreshing, like deodorant.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. There's a good way of pointing things.
Chicken. I prefer chicken
Mhm.
any day.
Marky Young says, as a Ukrainian, when we're trying to encourage people to support Ukraine, we go to the government buildings. That's where the decisions are made. What? You don't go block random streets? It's what you're supposed to do, according to Queers for Palestine.
That's stupid. You're supposed to block streets.
Yeah,
Supposed
block
to go
streets
and
at
scream,
Disney World.
Free. Yeah.
Yeah, block streets from Disney World. That way the little kids go, Dad, why are we stuck in traffic? And he goes, because of idiots, son.
Yeah. That's why the war is still going on. That's why Russia didn't back down, because you didn't go out stopping regular people in the streets of America. That's what you're supposed to do.
What is this? 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 equals 100 over 1. No, that's
Yes.
false. That
That's
100
very
over 1, 100 over 1 would be 100. 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1, that would be 6. 6 is not 100.
That's the most accurate thing I've seen in my entire life.
All right, couple more super chats, then we're going to move on. Memorial Day for the fallen soldiers of the wars of Israel and victims of actions of terrorism, now in Israel. Imagine Mike Winger as a Muslim doing dawah.
That's a very weird thing to imagine.
He'd fit right in. He'd be the king of dawah over there. Flogging is kinky. Oh, yeah. Imagine. I didn't even think about that. Imagine someone who's into that and you commit adultery and you get flogged. And you're like, ooh, give me another. Brought different qirats and he said they are same in Arabic. Oh, yeah. Then you're dealing with a liar. Because the qirats are different in Arabic. And just so you know, there are sites where you can bring up the differences and have them, and they have the like missing words or missing letters or differences and so on. But they have the translation. You could pull up a site like Hafs versus Warsh or something like that. Actually print them out and go in there, but let him know. Say, hey, are you saying that this? Because I don't even read Arabic, but this looks like a completely different thing from this. This letter looks completely different, or this word looks completely different. You saying this says the exact same thing? Yeah, so, but it's actually good. See, notice he says brought different qira'at. So this is apparently a sheikh that you have available in your area that you can go to. So that's a good situation. That's a good situation to be in. All right, one more super chat here. We got more, but Hey, D. Wood, I'm writing a book about martyrs, and I have Bonhoeffer, Themalicus, Tyndale, and some others. What martyr stories are your favorite or have to do with Islam? It's a storybook about a pastor who learns from them. Thanks. Hey, Based Autistic, there's actually a book on this. So you can pick. You can actually go to it. And I mean, there are modern examples that won't be in the book because that still happens today, right? There are still martyrs. There are still martyrs in Nigeria right now. This is still ongoing. Let's see. You have a book that is specifically on Christian martyrs under Islam, and it's by Princeton University Press. Fun things going on at Princeton. Matter of fact, the next story we're going to look at is from Princeton. Hunger strike. So the book is titled Christian Martyrs Under Islam, Christian Martyrs Under Islam, Religious Violence and the Making of the Muslim World by Christian C. Sahner, Sahner. And it's an entire book on that topic. Princeton University Press, 2018. So pretty up to date. So hope that helps. All right, everyone. Let's jump into a topic. AP, you heard of these? AP, you heard of these Princeton protests where they're going on a hunger strike?
Yeah, people are hungry apparently. Yes.
So I think they're on day 8 of their hunger strike. We'll go ahead and watch 2 video clips of them crying about it. Here we go.
This is absolutely unfair. My peers and I, we are starving. We are physically exhausted. I am quite literally shaking right now, as you can see.
Oh, she actually said.
And hot.
What?
She actually said the phrase, "I'm literally shaking right now."
Yes, shaking and starving. She's shaking because she's starving.
That's a phrase that people make fun of. I'm literally shaking right now.
Yeah, and you could
she
see
actually said the exact phrase.
Yeah, and you can see all the people who are standing with her. These are definitely people who are in the midst of starvation. They can barely stand because they're all starving, ladies and gentlemen. But let's hear these powerful words of this brave young soul starving herself to get I was about to say to get Israel to stop attacking. No, these guys are trying to get their university to do whatever divest stuff they're talking about. Let's see.
At the same time, we are all immunocompromised. And based on the university's meeting yesterday with some of our bargaining team, they would love to continue physically weakening us because they can't stand to say no to unjust murder.
Do you hear that? They want to continue physically weakening us. How are they physically weakening you? By you being on a hunger strike, by not giving into your demands, by not doing what you want. They're physically weakening you because you're dumb enough to go on a hunger strike. Although I'd have to actually see the evidence. If you want me to believe that you're on a hunger strike, show me the scale each day. Show me this.
They're eating. They're secretly eating every day.
I'm saying, guys, I used to do a lot of long-term fasting. First day where you have nothing, you'll lose 4 to 5 pounds your first day. So show me the scale. After that, you'll lose about 2 pounds the second day. After that, you lose about 1 pound a day. And that will just keep up because that's what your body needs to use over time. So you will be burning off about 1 pound a day. So show me the scale readings and I will believe that you're actually fasting. If you are, you're actually not eating. If you're actually not eating, it does not mean I would give in to a second for your demands because that's the good thing about a hunger strike. There have been people in the world who actually starve themselves to death in hunger strikes. That has happened. I do not believe any last one of you would last 12, 13 days. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it now until you show me the scale readouts and so on. Like I'm not going to take you seriously at all. I think you're a bunch of clowns who want attention, and clowns who want attention are the sort of people who would pretend to be on a hunger strike, even if they're not. But supposing you were, I do not believe that any of you who are involved in this have the moral conviction or the willpower to keep this up. That's the good thing. That's why your school, at the end of the day, does not really care. They know you can be on a hunger strike for a couple days. Really, you're going to go eat. You don't take this stuff seriously enough. You don't take your little free Palestine, free Palestine. Oh, they didn't listen when we screamed or put up tents, so now they'll listen when we say we're hungry. No, they're not. And this is just pathetic.
When I was in high school, I was very, very interested in communism and in like revolutionary communist organizations and movements in Turkey and all that, and around the world. And in those movements, in some of them, indefinite hunger strikes, once they are locked up, were quite a popular thing. Nowadays, I find it kind of, I don't want to say it's funny, but it's stupid. But I knew, and I know of a lot of cases where these people, these communists, go on hunger strikes, and a lot of them actually go through with the whole thing, and they die in the end. They have to be
Yep.
forcibly fed with these pipes, and they still die because they refuse to eat. They become totally malnourished, become like bones and skin, and eventually they die. But even after a few days, they don't look like these guys here. These guys don't look like they missed a single day of eating. This is I don't buy it at all.
Yeah. So when I was in jail, just by fasting, I went from about 235 pounds. So about 235 pounds. That was my young and in shape weight. I went down to about 150. So I lost about 85 pounds by fasting. Once I started getting down into like the 160s and 150s, and another inmate snitched on me because he thought I was trying to starve myself to death or something. I wasn't. But he snitched on me, and they know I had mental health problems. So that's when they put me in an isolation cell where they could have me on a camera all day. And they started taking me down every day or two, and they would draw blood, which was really annoying to me because I'm like, I don't exactly have a way of replenishing very well everything you're taking out of my body right now. But they would go down, they would draw vials of my blood, and they told me, see, what these guys are thinking of starving, you are not starving, girl. You are hungry. That's what you are. You're hungry. If indeed you are on this hunger strike, you're not starving yet. You're hungry. They told me, as far as the reason they were taking my blood, is they were saying, your body will get its calories. So if you stop eating calories, your body will take its calories from your fat storage. Well, first it will use collagen, your collagen stores. That's what it uses at first. Then it will also be using but collagen doesn't last long. That goes away quickly. Then it's using fat and muscle. It's using fat and muscle. So it's using fat and protein in your system and converting that to the energy you need. Eventually, you start running out of the fat and the protein in your muscles, and your body will start feeding off of other things like your own internal organs. They were saying the reason they're taking my blood is they're sending it to the lab. They will be able to tell when my body is actually in starvation mode, and it's going to start messing up my organs and stuff. They said the moment our reading says that it's messing with your organs, we're going to put a tube in you and we're going to feed you. So that's but that would be after a long time. So keep in mind, I went from 235 down to around 150, 85-pound loss, and I could still go on. I could still go on. We weren't to the tube feeding part of that yet. And so there are people who have the willpower to do that all the way to the point of death. These whiny college students ain't it. These are students who I would be surprised if they're actually doing a hunger strike, if they're actually seriously doing it and not sneaking crackers and stuff. But if they are doing it, they're not the sort who are going to last until death. So if you're making demands, I would just say, okay, we'll get back to you in a couple days after you give up and you start eating, because there's no way they're going to keep this up. And that's why it's dumb. If you're not dead serious, do not go on a hunger strike, because you just end up looking like a complete idiot. But let's let her finish whining.
I will say I truly do not feel like I'm doing anything special. This is my choice.
I don't either.
And I would not spend my birthday doing anything other than being here and
Happy
standing
birthday.
in solidarity with you all and standing in solidarity with our siblings and innocent people in Gaza.
Yay, she's making a difference.
No matter how physically weak we may be, united we have never been stronger. Our resolve has never been stronger.
I don't believe it.
The people, united, will never be defeated.
The people who refuse to eat will eventually start eating. You should have said, girl. I don't believe it. I will be massively impressed, because you do occasionally have the people who want to go hard. You got a guy who burned himself to death, right? There are people who take it that serious. It's not a bunch of Princeton students. I don't believe it. Show me. And I'm not. Keep in mind, I'm not saying people starve yourself to death. I certainly hope that doesn't happen. I don't want any of you to starve yourselves to death. I think you're young and stupid. That does not mean you should die. But the point is, I will start taking you seriously if this guy in the pink shirt in the middle, or whatever color that is, if this guy in the middle, all of a sudden I see him a week from now and he's noticeably skinnier, then I'll start thinking, oh, okay, maybe he's actually doing something there.
Why is she wearing a mask and giving a speech here? Like, why don't you take off your mask? What's I don't even get the point of the mask. Why is she wearing a mask?
Yeah. If you want to, I mean, yeah, isn't that weird? You're obviously doing this because you want attention. So why are you wearing a mask? This guy standing beside her, he knows. Matter of fact, let's hear from him. We can hear from him too. So it looks like he's taking the mic now. Are y'all ready? Because this guy's gonna spit some hot fire.
We are now on day 8 of our hunger strike, and we continue to put our bodies on the line for the sake of the liberation of the Palestinian people.
Wait, why does he look like an Islamist?
Is this? Yeah, I was thinking, is this Daniel Hakikic's little brother or something? We'll find out if this is Daniel Hakikic's little brother if he starts defending child marriage randomly in the middle of this presentation.
We have been under forced famine since Israeli policies on October 9th.
Forced famine.
Announced a blockade that have created conditions of forced famine,
bringing in endless truckloads of rations, and when people try to go grab the food, Hamas beats and shoots them.
Food insecurity and starvation for the people of the Gaza Strip. Since we began our hunger strike, we have had simple demands. We want a meeting and good faith negotiations with the university to talk about disclosure and divestment from companies involved in the Israeli occupation, and we want amnesty from legal and disciplinary
companies involved in the occupation, meaning this is going to be another, but there's this place, there's a McDonald's in Israel, so we have to boycott McDonald's and stuff like that, and I want the university to. My goodness, what a clown.
Charges.
Why is anyone giving this guy attention?
These guys actually are so arrogant and so privileged that they think the fact that they go to a certain university gives them the right or gives them this entitlement to decide what the university may or may not do, how this university can spend their funds, or where they can get their support and from where they can't. This guy thinks, oh, look, I go to this university, my parents pay all the money, therefore this university needs to listen to me. How dare they not listen to me? They're killing me, literally. Stupid idiots.
I'm looking at some of the comments. Where'd they go? Looks like a gay version of Daniel Pikachu.
That doesn't make sense, because that's what Daniel Hakikachu looks like.
Yeah. Daniel Hakikachu looks like a gay Daniel Hakikachu. He is so not on a hunger strike. Dopey idiot. I'm guessing he's a member of Queens for Palestine. Lol, scrappy Hakikachu. Here we have the real issue. Is he a ginger? That would solve it, right?
Okay, but there's no way that this guy actually didn't eat for 8 days.
I know. Well, I mean, unless he was like, so keep in mind, 8 days, again, you would lose about 4 to 5 pounds your first day, 2 to 3 for the second day. After that, a pound per day. But you can notice there would be a noticeable difference. So if you can find a video of this guy from like 9 days ago, you can tell indisputably whether he is on a hunger strike right now. And we have Black Angel here. We have Black Angel here. He looks like one of the converts on X, like one of those guys who converted out of solidarity. I mean, he's got the hat on. He's got the hat and all this.
And we're making a difference here, and they're starving us. They're refusing to obey us.
What were you saying?
It's not even the appearance. It's just not even the appearance, but just the way he acts. If he had not eaten any food for 8 days, he wouldn't be as healthy and normal in his speech and whatever it is. He wouldn't be standing there. I don't think that makes any sense.
I think you can. As someone who's been through, I have to say, if this was your first time, your body always finds ways to adapt. If this is their first long term without eating, yeah, they might be a bit more sluggish in that. But after you've done it several times, like your body just knows, okay, we're in no food mode, and your body will adapt. But yeah, I just don't believe. Yeah, look at his face. This does not look like someone who hasn't eaten in 8 days at all. Neither did the girl. Neither did anyone up there. So prove
to be
it.
fair, he does have some reserves. So yeah.
He's got the reserves. He's got the reserves. But the people with reserves are usually the people who are used to eating more, and therefore it's kind of harder for them to back away from food.
That's true.
All right, let's see some more of his brilliant insights.
Students that have been arrested for peaceful protests. Since that time, the university has failed to actually engage with our demands, and they have made clear that they still fail to acknowledge that a genocide is even occurring. We know that the university is not committed to keeping its students safe if it has failed to allow the hunger strikers to end their strike by meeting our very simple requests. But what we have experienced as well as hunger...
By the way, that is relevant. That is relevant.
Requests.
That is relevant. So AP, when you're saying, no, they'd be way weaker than this, I'm thinking, I don't know. I mean, if they've been through anything like this before, you can actually get used to it. But yeah, the ruddy cheeks, that is an issue because you do get pale. You do get paler over time. So this guy looks pretty ruddy here. So unless this dude is like beet red normally, unless this dude is like looks like a tomato normally, and this is his pale version, he's looking pretty ruddy. And yeah, we're going to have to call this trans fasting.
The university has no legal obligation, as far as I understand, to step in and say, "Oh no! Whatever will stop this act. Whatever will stop you from not eating. Whatever, just tell us what we can do. We will do it." The university has no such obligation. At some point, they're probably supposed to call in help to get to take these people somewhere, and if they are actually forcibly starving themselves to convince them not to do that. But this is not how this works. You don't just say, "Oh, I have an issue. There's actually a genocide taking place." No, it hadn't been determined that it's a genocide. Even the International Court of Justice hasn't said that it is a genocide. No such statement has been made. But I decide that it is a genocide. Therefore, this university must also acknowledge that it is a genocide and must therefore change all of its major business decisions and all its financial decisions. They must change everything according to my needs. Otherwise, I will not eat. The university doesn't have to comply with your needs.
Yes, they don't. And it's another example where you don't, if you're the university, you don't want to get in. You don't want to give in because you send a message to morons. Hey, if you want us to give in to your stupid demands of a bunch of idiots who have no clue what they're talking about and who are programmed by Hamas to carry out their will abroad, you don't want to send a message to these guys saying, "Hey, just say we're starving ourselves and then we'll do what you want." You don't want to send that message.
Stupid spoiled
what is this?
kids.
We have Les here saying you don't lose that much fasting for one day. Les, I've done it literally hundreds of times. I used to fast regularly. Yeah, when I say you lose 5 pounds on your first full day, that's not saying that you've lost 5 pounds of body fat or something like that. I'm saying when you step on the scale the next day, you're about 5 pounds less because once the food is out of your system and so on, then your body also doesn't retain the same amount of water and so on. So as soon as you eat the next time, your weight will come back up. Your weight will come back up because you'll retain water and stuff. But yes, but what I say, around 5 pounds for the first day, around 2 the next day, and then about 1. I'm saying that from years of experience doing exactly that. So can't pull rank on me on this one. All right, back to the hero of Princeton.
Is amazing shows of solidarity from community members, and today we're very pleased to announce that an incredible group of Princeton faculty will be joining us in Solidarity Fast.
Yay,
we
Solidarity Fast!
The solidarity that faculty are showing us and the way they are stepping up to show the moral leadership that the university administration is completely failing to. I would now like to introduce them to read a statement about their Solidarity Fast.
Their Solidarity Fast? What a bunch of clowns.
Maybe they're fasting the Islamic way. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome if they're like doing now if they're doing Ramadan fasting, where okay guys, everyone be up by 5:30 a.m. because we've got this giant Thanksgiving meal ready, this giant spread. We're gonna stuff ourselves with food. Then we're gonna sleep all day, except for when we have to wake up for our little stupid press conference for Twitter. And then as soon as sundown gets here, we're gonna gorge ourselves with a pile of food again. Oh, university, why are you starving us to death?
Yeah,
Guys,
that makes
it is
that makes
impossible.
sense.
It's impossible to starve while doing Ramadan fasting. You could do Ramadan fasting your entire life. You would be morbidly obese. You wouldn't be starving. Oh boy.
You would
So
probably
what-
get dehydration problems.
So what are our thoughts on the Princeton protest? Any last thoughts on the Princeton protest, AP? They seem
I
kind
think
of
everything has been said. Just a bunch of spoiled, stupid idiots that shouldn't be taken seriously, and they apparently think right now that they're really doing something. I don't know. Maybe in 10 years or so, when they look back, they will think, "Oh, that was embarrassing."
I think the word that they would use when looking back on it is cringe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Am I using that word
Yeah.
correctly? Cringe? Okay.
Oh, back then I engaged in this thing that was cringe. I
heard
don't
it
want
here.
to think about it.
And it's funny because I mean, like when you're there, you're surrounded by people, and you're all, free Palestine! Yay, we're making a difference! I know we'll go on a hunger strike. This will make the university do what we say. And looking at the big picture, once again, name me a Dawa guy, name me any college protester, name any one of those guys who has made an actual difference that is going to help the people of Gaza at all. I'm not familiar with one. I can't think of one. And all I can ever think is they're actually making it worse by sending the message to the people of Gaza. Just keep attacking Israel. We'll keep supporting you. We'll keep supporting you. You just keep attacking. Yeah, it's your building. It's not hurting us, except for pretending we're not eating for a couple days. But you're the ones whose houses are getting bombed when you got terrorists hiding among you. So yeah, we'll just keep fighting. Just keep supporting the terrorists. So go ahead. We'll just keep yelling free Palestine. It's good. See, we're helping you. You're not. You're destroying them. If you want to send an important message to the people of Gaza, say, hey, stop supporting terrorists. Stop keeping terrorists in power. Stop attacking a nation that is massively more powerful than you are. Learn to take the L. You're not getting the land back. You're not getting Israel back. It's not going to happen. You're too weak. They're too powerful. So focus on building up your families, building up your communities. My goodness, you'd be a modern nation right now if you could just learn that. If that's the lesson they took away, they would be a modern developed nation right there. But they can't.
By the way, Israel
and people in the West
always
encourage them not to. Yeah. They just encourage them. Just keep getting bombed down to nothing. Do that. That's what we want here at Princeton. We'll starve for you.
Israel wasn't always significantly more powerful than the other side.
Yeah, when it started off, it was close at the beginning. Wasn't it close at the beginning?
Yeah, you could say in 1948, it was. They weren't significantly stronger. They were close to how the Arab states were. When the Arab states attacked, then it was like all the Arab states and the Arab population all together united as a mob attack Israel, and Israel was not a significantly superior, significantly stronger force. What they did do, however, is that the Zionists, the Jews, the Israelis, they actually worked, and they actually focused on producing and doing things. They actually came and turned this whole place into a civilized society, into a place where developed buildings were established, where people were actually doing things for a society. Before they came, it was all empty. So it wasn't always like this. The other side, just by always complaining and asking for more and fighting for more and so on, they did this to themselves. They are still stuck with their development in somewhere far in the last century, whereas Israel is currently a world leader in innovations and development. Maybe if they focused more on life instead of being morons, they would get somewhere too.
So they started off pretty even.
Mm-hmm.
The area controlled by Jews focused on building and improving, focused on education, technology, and now they are massively more powerful and people who basically started off in the same ballpark, and who focused instead on using everything to dig tunnels and build weapons. How's that working out for you? What are these stupid college students encouraging? Just keep doing what you're doing. Well, why not do the thing that works and not the thing that always ends in disaster for you? Understand now, EP?
Yes.
Oh, this from I'm Lutheran. It's part of our baptism. So I think this is the guy earlier who said he had a Bible passage for his baptism. I guess he's saying that is a normal Lutheran. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
By Lutheran, I assume you mean the German standard Lutheran.
No, he means Chinese Lutheran.
No, because so in Germany that is the standard Protestant. Yeah.
Oh, hey, this is funny. It says make a goat badge, please. I guess you mean goat badges for hey, that's funny. Goat badges for I hadn't even thought of that. So I have like One Punch Man characters and some Tin Men as the various badges and so on. That's good. I could have some goat versions. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Who repeats the start of a sentence more, D Wood or Foghorn Leghorn? That's going to be close. You'd have to actually do the math. Sometimes I'll go. Sometimes I'll go something like that. You know what I mean? Like I repeat words at the beginning when I'm starting, and that's what Foghorn Leghorn does. Foghorn Leghorn does. You don't know who Foghorn Leghorn is because you're too young.
Notice how David talks about.
Notice.
Oh, I don't know.
Notice how he talks about it. My ignorance. How does one become a member? I think you just click on something to. It should be a little membership badge down there or something.
Yeah, when you go to where you make super chats, there is a become a member option as well, but you have to go through some initiation rites, which include a humiliation. Process. Yeah.
Yeah, it's same thing that like frats do. Frats, like fraternity initiation. It's called hazing. There's going to be some hazing involved.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Shekels for the Jammin' Jesters of Jizya. Jammin' Jesters of Jizya. Hard keeping up with so many great shows lately. Love it. God bless you both. Yeah, it's actually hard for us. Like we see like 4 or 5 topics a day that we want to cover in live streams, and it's just totally impossible. Just totally impossible. 2 Thessalonians 2, 11 through 12. Go ahead and look that up, AP. 2 Thessalonians 2, 11 to 12. It's your favorite passage, AP. Your favorite passage. And yes, YouTube decides randomly who gets memberships. Interesting. I did not know that.
For this cause, God shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
You definitely see a lot of delusion going on right now. Let's make a meme. How to catch a predator. Why don't you have a seat, Muhammad? Already been planning that for years, just never recorded it. Actually have almost the entire script. The script does involve police officers beating the crap out of Muhammad when he like beating the crap out of Muhammad when he goes out of the house. Actually have all the people, all the parts. I just don't know. I'm not sure how to use. I mean, I could kind of do it. Not sure how to make my cameras look like the hidden security cameras and stuff like that. I'm sure I could do it. I probably need someone to help me on that. But yeah, we've had that planned. We've had that one planned for a year. I've basically been waiting for someone to annoy me a lot. Someone to annoy me enough to I say, all right, your punishment for doing that horrible dumb thing is I'm going to make this to catch a prophet video.
All right, everyone, you heard it. You heard it. Just annoy David to make him force.
Yeah, the joke was going to be Muhammad doesn't get why there's a problem, and he keeps thinking they're just hiding the young. Like after he gets caught, he thinks they're just trying to hide the young girl from him, so he keeps coming back and getting crap beat out of him again and again. And then in the end, it's going to be Chris Hansen going. And I really believe that this guy will just keep coming back. But there's going to be a window behind him, and all of a sudden you see Muhammad like peeking up through the window, through the window in the background. Anyway, so yeah, it'd be funny. Wingaling Philosophy President Club. Yeah, what school? What school is he going to be the president of a philosophy club? Dork University? I don't know. D. Wood, Issa Kabir, IP, AP, Mary Hart, Myth Vision, all in a philosophy slam. Ooh, that'd be good. That's a good lineup there.
That sounds terrible.
In America, one will need to be packing when traveling through some cities that are dominated by Islamists. Maybe some places. She was 9 years old, guy. Check out Positive Christianity. Oh, I think this is talking to. Is this talking to She Was 9 years old, guy? Check out Positive Christianity, Third Reich. It's a version that is race-based, and they read the Bible with race in mind. Dangerous, if I'm right. Interesting. Daoud, Awad, and Apostate Prophet, my favorite kuffar. I think my name is Daoud Chesheb. I think so. I think Chesheb is wood. If Jesus, Noah, Moses, David were Islamic prophets, why did none of them ever bother to visit the Kaaba, which was supposedly built by Abraham? We've actually seen Muslims defend that it was a pilgrimage site. Remember that, AP?
Yeah.
When I was saying, oh, but it says David went and hid from Saul. Where would he have hid? Obviously in Mecca. I remember that. You were actually drawing it out, like on a map live, saying where David had to go, where David went when he hid. Oh, he went all the way down here.
Yeah, you're right. By the way, it's Chesheb.
Is it? That was right. That's cool. Yeah. I heard that years ago.
Chesheb.
Queers for Muhammad. Yeah, that's what they should. They should change their name to Queers for Muhammad.
Queers from Omo.
Sheikh offered prunes. I said, what you put in my water. Let's see. Watch Masab vid again today. Window open, neighbor's gran hung washing out. Suddenly, D. Wood shouts about drinking from Zabubi. The look on her face. So the window is open and they're watching the Masab video, and I start talking about drinking from Zabubis. That's funny. Let's see. All right, we're gonna jump on. We have I think 2 more issues to cover. This next one's actually pretty quick. Have you researched OCD's role in religious thinking? Keep in mind, David, this is important. You see, it's the truth. No,
I have done that in connection to Islam, but yeah.
I think it does need to be done. Really, there needs to be like a psychologist just sitting down with a psychologist, pulling up all the stuff ahead of time and showing Muhammad's obsession with like wiping with an odd number of stones and doing this a certain number of times and plucking your pubic hairs every certain number of days and so on. I don't know a ton about OCD, but that sounds like it's got something to do with it.
Yeah, I was thinking. I thought it would be a fun thing to go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist to interview them, and without telling them that we're talking about Muhammad, just give them some of the symptoms that Muhammad shows in the hadiths, which describe his very odd behavior and the hallucinations, the revelations and things like that, and then to ask them what they think this person would be possibly suffering from, if from something at all. Like a regular case study example, without naming Muhammad.
Indeed. Here's a cool.
I know this is an outdated term.
Let me shrink us here a bit. Let me shrink us.
Oh, don't
this is widescreen.
Oh, you see, they're getting smaller because they're weak. You see.
All right. This guy's actually funny, ladies and gentlemen. This guy's actually funny. Something that happened years ago. People started complaining about cultural appropriation. So you'd see like some white kid on a college campus who has dreadlocks, and people would surround him and go, what are you doing with those dreadlocks? That's cultural appropriation. That's someone else's culture. How dare you do that? And then didn't matter what you're doing. If you're participating in Cinco de Mayo or something like that, and you're from a different group, well, shame on you. It's cultural appropriation. So you had to be careful what you wore or things you said or things you ate, and because anything could be cultural appropriation. But here, this guy realizes you've got all these students. Look, you've got right here on the camera, you've got multiple Asian students wearing this stuff for solidarity with with the Arabs of Gaza. But you've got Asians and white people and so on, and they're all wearing Arab gear. And this guy actually starts accusing them of cultural appropriation. I think it's pretty funny. Let's check out this guy.
I know this is an outdated term, but is cultural appropriation not a thing anymore? I don't think you're Middle Eastern. You can't wear that scarf.
Like, technically, man, that is cultural appropriation.
That's shame.
This guy beside him is going, technically, man, that is cultural appropriation. This guy's sitting here holding a football, and he's got this other guy with him who's agreeing with everything he says. That's funny. This is what we need to do, AP. We need to roll up on some of these guys and do this kind of stuff. But look at him. So he's in a jersey, and he's got a football. Let's see what he says.
That's shame. Shame, shame, shame. You really should be ashamed of yourself. No, I'm going to film it right now. Look at that. That is a white person. That is a white person.
And they're filming this white person wearing Islamic head covering, calling it cultural appropriation. But he got the camera right in her face.
Shame.
And this guy, the guy beside him's got a cross on his chest. Maybe that's why he's so based. But yep, they're shaming him. You ready? They're gonna shame him. Right? They're gonna shame this woman right now. This woman's about to get shamed. Here we go.
Shame! Shame!
It is cultural appropriation.
Shame!
You have a good point.
Shame!
You have a great point, man.
I'm shaming her because she's white and she's wearing a Middle Eastern headdress. It's really not okay.
That guy's awesome, isn't he? Isn't that a good point? That's a really good point, right? Because these same students 2 or 3 years ago would have been screaming, that's a cultural appropriation. That's cultural appropriation. That's cultural appropriation. And now, hey, free Palestine, show solidarity by all wearing Arab gear. Yay, let's do that. And so Asians and white kids are all wearing this stuff. Why not call them out on their own stupidity and hypocrisy? But that's what he did. Hats off to this guy. So I don't know if that's his channel. Up in the corner says Danny Mullen. Don't know what his other videos are like. He could be a total dirtbag for other stuff, but smart idea, guys. And this would be something very easy to do. So if you're walking by some people and they're all geared up, like they're from Gaza, even though they're from Oklahoma, you can kind of question them, call them out on their cultural appropriation.
This guy has like 800,000 subscribers.
Oh, I see why. It's pretty funny. Can we agree that everyone should do this?
Yes.
So if you see these protesters, ladies and gentlemen, dressed up like Arabs, ask them why they're guilty of cultural appropriation and tell them shame, 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 until they realize their own hypocrisy. All right. Hey, what's this?
I feel pretty offended when I see these people. I feel pretty offended. It's like, I feel like it is actually worse than genocide. It's worse than genocide. Cultural appropriation on this level is worse than it is actually genocide, but it's worse. It's genocide on a worse level. It's like super genocide.
AP.
That's what it is.
You and I should go on a hunger strike until these people stop their cultural appropriation.
That's what I've been saying, yeah.
I'm starving myself from now on. And every day I'm going to come back on here and go, I'm on day 3 of my hunger strike. And these people who are culturally appropriating Middle Eastern culture are causing me to have a compromised immune system. Does that make you happy? Compromising my immune system?
But if we come back every day and say we are on day 3, that doesn't make any sense.
That would be funny too. Wouldn't it be funny? Like for 40 days straight, we're like, we're on day 3.
Day 3 of our hunger strike. Why is nobody listening?
30 days later, still.
We are on day 3. Look at us.
You see, David says to send PayPal money to Nick Fritos to establish a Catholic caliphate. How about no? I don't buy your Pope. If the argument is Muhammad's excellent character, then we should give him a new list name, Muhammad Poppins. That dude been popping.
Pop.
Screaming Goats podcast strengthens my iman. That's what we're here for. Want to strengthen everyone's iman. Go over DH and Kim Iverson on child marriage.
I was thinking of doing that, although I have been thinking of inviting her. She follows me and she occasionally comments on my stuff, and she's pretty insufferable, but I have been thinking of inviting her, just challenging her.
Yeah, I can't remember who that is. I just remember her saying something really, really stupid. Does that ring a bell? She said something really, really stupid.
She usually says very, very stupid things. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I mean, Daniel defending child marriage on someone else's show should be good. Then it would be, okay, Kim, now you've heard it. They're actually defending child marriage. Why do you still think this is all a good idea?
Yeah.
The real problem with Winger is he's too positive. That's funny. That's a play on that Muslim woman saying, I think that the real reason so many people have a problem with Islam is because we're so positive. Whatever happens, it rains, we say Alhamdulillah. We miss a train, we say Alhamdulillah. And all the negative Nancys out there, they're upset about this because of a positivity. Yeah.
Nobody else does that. Only we Muslims say that kind of stuff.
Never seen one person in my entire life complain about all the positivity in Islam. But whatever.
I see that all the time. People are so Islamophobic, and they're like, wow, can we get rid of these Muslims? They're so positive. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah. WWE needs to say to the Saudis, if you don't release the young girl, we don't bring our shows to your country. Watch how fast they'll release her. That is a good point. And I think that is important. Saudi is trying to bring all these big shows. So they've been doing it with wrestling show, boxing matches. I think the Tyson Fury versus Usyk match is this coming weekend. That's in Saudi Arabia. Wrestling, concerts, everyone. Guys, it would be very easy for some big name that they're contacting. So getting some big name. They want this big act to come out here and do a show. For that big name to go public and say, I'm not doing anything. Don't even ask me until you release that girl. Or, I mean, even, hey, I'll come release that girl first. And then I'm there. I'll do the biggest, best show ever. Release that girl first and let her out of that crap hole country you got.
What is rustling?
Germans don't
keep saying rustling.
Wrestling. Wahhabi Muslims are more powerful than the BDS kingdom. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
A sparkling diamond super sticker. If only we could see the sparkling diamond. I'm talking to you, Ecamm. We want to see the super stickers.
We want to see.
Josh Perez says the family of monotheism, Judaism equals the father equals the son, Islam equals bastard son, Catholicism equals the mother atheist equals the mother atheist equals the crazy uncle that nobody listens to. Judaism equals the father equals the son. Islam equals bastard son. I don't know. I have to think about that. Is not England responsible for this? Can't trust them. I don't know which part that's referring to. England is responsible for a bunch of things in the world. That's why you can never trust the English or their stupid accents.
They're responsible for everything, I would say. Yeah.
Did take a look at Mike Winger's videos, and he reminds me of Spucky from Traumschiff Surprise. I don't know what that is about, but it must be the worst character on the most terrible show ever. If it reminds you of Mike Winger.
I remember that. That was a German parody of Star Trek.
Oh, nice. So he's Spucky, so that would be the parable of Spock. Yeah, I can see that. He's a parody of Spock. That would make sense. I might check that out. Hang on, I'm screenshotting this because I want to check that out later. Free Palestine? I'll take 2 then.
Yes.
Let's see. D. Wood, you asked for a video of gays being shown what Palestinians think of them. Search Israelis or Palestinians. Who's more tolerant? Love you both. That's a good one to check out, too. I screenshotted that.
Obviously, everyone knows that Palestinians will say, "Oh, we love gays. We love gays. We want them all here, everywhere." And Israelis will say, "Oh, gays. If they come, we will kill them." Obviously.
Yeah. Let's see. Sid Dave says, Dawkins always called himself a cultural Christian, yes, and always respected the Anglican Church. Well, he said he likes cathedrals and hymns. Even though he regards Christian doctrines to be false, he clearly sees Islam as a serious threat. Yes, I agree. The point is, if you were Dawkins and you recognize Christianity as something that is protecting you from something worse, it would not make sense to attack from an atheist perspective, where if a belief is not hurting you, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to attack it, especially if the belief isn't harming you and it's protecting you from something much worse. It would seem weird to attack it. And until you have a plan in place, right? In other words, if you actually have a plan for attacking all religion while not being taken over and subjugated by Islam, then you do it. But if at some point you realize, wait a minute, we're attacking Christianity and Islam is like taking over, it seems like you pull back, but it's just weird because, I don't know, the new atheists just kept blasting away even after they saw what was happening, which means it's like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, in other words, if I were still an atheist and I had a big problem with Islam, which I would have, and I saw that something is doing something to keep that from subjugating my country or my population, I would probably want a plan in place. How am I going to get rid of religion while not being taken over by the worst religion on the planet? How would I do that? And if I didn't have a plan, and it's like, oh, if I just keep doing what I'm doing, blasting away at religion, and all this does is like weaken the religion of my society, and then people come in from elsewhere and then conquer us, I probably wouldn't do that. But they are. And so it's a weird situation.
Well, Richard Dawkins does believe that Christianity is harmful in different ways. So while it is better than Islam, and it is keeping Islam out in a way, which he also acknowledges, and he says, maybe it's not so good that Christianity is declining at the same time that this other thing is coming in. So he does acknowledge that exchanging the two is probably not a good thing. It's probably terrible. He also does believe that Christianity is harmful. So he's just conflicted on how to and how fast to get rid of it and what to do instead.
Yeah, but look what you just said, conflicted. I agree. And matter of fact, he says that in the videos. He goes, oh, yes, look, because Christianity also has problems with women and so on. So he acknowledges that. He thinks that it's bad. I mean, he thinks that it's like it gives people it affects science negatively and so on. So he believes that.
That's his main issue, yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing. If you're sitting here looking at this thing and there's this thing that's going to completely subjugate us in a generation or two, and I have no plan for dealing with it, how important are any of those disagreements or any of those problems you have with Christianity when what's going to replace it in every possible way you can conceive of is going to be way, 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 way worse than the Christianity that you didn't like. The only point is it's just to me, it's weird not having like a plan. Or if you start trying something and you realize, whoa, that's going in a different direction from what I thought. Because what they seemed to think was, we're going to start getting rid of religion and society is going to become more rational and more scientific and so on. And, oh, no, we're getting Islam and it's like really, really bad. It seems like at that point, whoa, scratch that plan, guys. Whatever we thought was going to happen, it's not happening. The opposite is happening. Come back. Let's sit down and formulate a plan. They seem like, I mean, it just seems like people were just going away and blasting away at things and having no plan. And one second. It actually reminds me, there's a passage. I want to do a video. I don't think I've ever done a video about it. There's this interesting passage, G.K. Chesterton, where he talks about, he says, imagine there's a fence. Imagine you come upon a way. Imagine you're going and you find a fence somewhere. And you say, I don't see the point of that fence. I'm going to tear it down. Chesterton says, until you can say exactly what the point of that fence is, you should not be allowed to tear it down. Once you've said, here was the point, here was the purpose of the fence, and here's what that fence was doing, and it is no longer important, and here's why it's no longer important, then you tear the fence down. If you walk up to a fence and you say, this seems stupid to me, I don't see a point to this at all, and I'm tearing it down, guess what? Someone built that fence for a reason. Someone made the fence for a reason. If you don't know what it's there for, and since you can't see what it's doing or what role it's playing, you think tear it down, you shouldn't be allowed to tear it down. And still you know exactly what it's there for and why it's no longer necessary. What we find in our day is everyone's just going around, I don't see the point of that, I don't see the point of that, I don't see the point of that, this looks stupid, let's burn it all to the ground. And then all of a sudden, like the floodgates are open and stuff is piling up on them. They're going, what are we doing? Guys, you spent your entire careers blasting away at fences and you had no clue what they were there for. And now you're starting to say, wait a minute, this is not going the way I thought. So anyway, that's my view. Have a freaking plan. Know what you're talking about. If you're going to start blasting away at Christianity, know exactly what Christianity is doing in your society in different ways. Know what it's a bulwark against. Know what it's holding back. Know how it's benefiting you. And then if you have everything planned out and you've got it all figured out and you have a way of not being subjugated by Islam and you want to blast away at Christianity, then blast away at Christianity and we'll humiliate you.
Well, that comparison would make more sense if Christianity at its core, in its fundamentals, if its primary purpose was similar to that of a fence, which doesn't have more of a purpose other than to keep things confined or keep other things out, right? So if that was the primary purpose of Christianity, for example, if that is what it was for, taking it down without understanding what it's actually keeping out wouldn't make much sense. But that's not the point of Christianity, right? So you could say that that's a feature of Christianity, that it also serves as a fence to keep things out, but that's not the entire point of Christianity.
I think you're taking the fence metaphor way too strictly. The point is destroying things where you don't understand the purpose and what they're doing.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are. I'm not. Because you're an atheist and you can't think. You literally have the brain of a donkey. Go ahead.
Because the issue is, if, for example, Richard Dawkins identified that Christianity, that its main purpose is, for example, to keep something like Islam out, and that there is nothing else that Christianity has which otherwise causes harm to society, he would probably say, yeah, why would you take it down? Keep it in place. Keep it in place. In fact, never ever take it down. But he thinks that Christianity has harmful aspects, which to him, in his field of science especially, are very big. He doesn't want those obstacles because he wants to see a future where people, without being restricted by any kind of religious worldview, look into just advancing toward scientific advancement without stopping. And just supporting Christianity while doing that, according to him, would be contradictory, would be wrong. So while he does see that Christianity serves as a fence against Islam, he also acknowledges that defending Christianity or keeping it in place may have consequences that are not very, very good in his worldview, in his side. That said, Richard Dawkins also probably doesn't consider himself the architect or the janitor of society. So while he's proposing certain things, he probably thinks, well, I'm not sure if this is going to work out, but I don't know.
Yeah, as far as Dawkins, what they don't seem to realize, whatever Islam, what is Islam doing in a Muslim society? The answer is it's doing a ton of things. It's doing a lot of things. It's affecting a lot of things. What's Christianity doing in a Christian society? A lot of things. A lot of things. If you go in there and you just, I think Christians are going to destroy science, even though they're the ones who did the scientific revolution, but I think they're going to destroy science or something like that. Or I don't like that there aren't female priests and bishops and so on, so I got a problem with this or so on. Okay, so going back to the fence point, if you don't understand what it's doing in society, the point is, if you don't know what this is doing in society, then you're going to go in guns blazing and you're going to wreak havoc on certain things, and you don't know what role those things play in society at first. And by the time you start blasting away at it, you may be doing damage that is very difficult to repair. as far as what you're saying, oh, well, if all Christianity is doing is keeping out Islam, but it's a problem in other ways for what Richard Dawkins wants, that should be enough for as far as what I was saying was, until you have a backup plan. I mean, let's suppose you live in a house and there's one guy and he's a jerk and you can't stand him. But there's a big mob, but he's a big tough guy, and there's a mob outside that wants to come in and slaughter everybody. And there's a big guy, and they can't get past this big guy standing in the door. You really want to take out the big guy standing at the door because you don't like him and he's a jerk. Well, not until you have another way of keeping out that mob of people who want to come in and slaughter you. So if that were the only thing, I don't think that's the only thing. If that were the only thing Christianity was doing in society, I would say not don't deal with Christianity. I'm speaking. If I were an atheist right now, it would not be. It would not be a situation of, hey, you never have to deal with Christianity. It'd be like, you need a better plan in place, because whatever you think is happening, look around you, look at what's happened in the past 20 years, doing what you thought would lead to certain results. It seems to you're not achieving what you set out to achieve at all. So at that point, it wouldn't matter what I was doing. If I said, here's my plan for doing something, and I start doing it and it just backfires right in my face, and start doing the opposite, I'd say, okay, I need a new plan. But a lot of guys who are still, keep in mind, I think lots of the new atheists, the wiser ones I've learned this already, and they're starting to rethink, like, hey, we need a new plan here. And even Dawkins and so on, I think, is actually catching on to this. The younger generation who kind of don't remember what things were like in the 80s and 90s, I think it's gonna be longer for them to catch on. But anyway, it's a simple point. Whatever perspective you have, and this will be true in any society. I mean, if you went to a place with a completely different religion, wherever you're at, that religion is doing certain things in that society. And if you're gonna burn it to the ground, or try to burn it to the ground because of some feature you don't like, you might want to be aware of other things that it's doing and how you're going to deal with those issues. You better have a good plan in place. If you don't, come up with a good plan first.
So the conclusion is we live in a society.
The conclusion is, you atheists have screwed everything up. We spent centuries making it good, and you guys make it suck. And that's what atheism does, and now people are catching on.
Conclusion is we live in a society.
I have to admit, I was watching Mike Winger years before I ever heard of you also go to Calvary Chapel. Well, Calvary Chapel's fine, but it's good that, people can confess to their sins, like watching Mike Winger. You come on here. I've done messed up stuff too. I've done messed up stuff in my life. Not as bad as that. But, I've done stuff that got me locked up, but I can't say I was watching Mike Winger for years. So glad you've repented and come over here. Here's everyone's anti-cringe pill for that. Here's everyone's anti-cringe pill for that first Princeton vid. Yeah, with winners like that, victory for Gaza is clearly in sight.
Yes.
Thank you, SM Son and Mike Winger's brother. There's no brother of Mike Winger here. The only brother of Mike Winger is whoever this Satan's brother is. I don't know. How come we're alive with 2 billion Muslims alive? Oh, are you meaning? Oh, Zayn. So is this someone who's like, oh, if Islam is really violent, then how are you still alive? Don't know if you paid attention, Zayn, but Islam kept trying to take over the world.
Oh, that's a very good point. Wow, it's a very good point. Wow.
Islam tried to conquer the world over and over again. It's been relentless. They stopped when they were stopped. In other words, they went right up into Europe in the West, and they were stopped. Battle of Tours. Then they were pushed back out. They kept trying to come on in the East, and they were stopped. They were stopped by people like Vlad the Impaler and so on. They spread to India until they were stopped. So what you're saying is, how come we're still alive with 2 billion Muslims who aren't in a position to subjugate us because Western nations are way more powerful than they are? How are we still alive when we're way more powerful than they are? You're seriously asking that question.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, the claim isn't that every Muslim is commanded to kill us all. Never claimed that. Never thought of it. Islam operates on these 3 stages of jihad. When you're too weak to fight, you don't fight. You preach peace and tolerance. When you're strong enough to fight defensively, but not strong enough to subjugate a population, you fight defensively. You have violent reactions when people do something to your community, oppress your community, or even criticize your prophet or something. You react violently to teach them a lesson. And then when you're the most powerful force in a society, then you subjugate the society. That's what I actually say. Show me how that doesn't fit the world. You can pick any country in the world. Tell me the percentage of Muslims in that country, and I'll tell you what they're preaching. If you're talking about if you pick a country where it's 1% of the population, the Muslims there are preaching peace and tolerance. If it's a country where Muslims make up 15 or 20% of the population, I dare you to criticize Islam because there's going to be a violent reaction. If you're talking about a place where Muslims are 80, 90% of the population, other people are second-class citizens. Show me a country that doesn't fit that pattern. That's what I actually say. And it's exactly what you find in the world.
They also call him Vlad the Based, by the way.
You should write something. You should do a video called Vlad the Based. Just be a historical video. Oh, we should go on a tour and make that video, like actually go to the sites and be recording it and do like a high level documentary and call it Vlad the Based, but be dropping all these hints about how to resist Islam and so on.
That'd be messed up.
I had a debate with a Pakistani. All of the hadiths and sunnahs I bring up are fake because it's on the internet. Yeah, that's funny. It's funny because you can even bring up, sunnah.com. These are Muslim websites, right? I go to kalamallah.com. You can download all the hadith collections, PDFs of them there. It's funny. The Muslim site, a Salafi Muslim site. But yeah, if you use it against someone, just keep in mind you're dealing lots of times with people who are programmed to lie.
There is this very stupid attitude in Muslim circles, which is that, oh, you're Googling something. Oh, you Googled it. You Googled it. Look, that means you don't know anything. How can you Google something? Because they're kind of stuck in this whole mindset of no, if you really want to learn something, you have to go. You have to go and sit and be disciplined and beaten by an Islamic scholar, and then get his approval to confirm that you actually know something, and read their opinions and get their approval and all of that. If you actually sit down and if you actually study things, that means you're a loser. If you actually look something up to remind yourself, that means you're a loser and you're ignorant and you have no right to speak, and so on. What a weird perspective. It's like it's the 21st century, man. What do you think Google is for?
Pretty weird. Pro-Hamas activism is a great way to lose weight. It sure is.
Yes.
Hunger strike after 5 days will make you very healthy. After 10 days, you'll still be in total ketosis, still healthy. You actually, it's not unhealthy. Yeah, it actually it has lots of positive effects on your body. That ketosis, it's actually interesting because your thinking becomes much clearer. It's a weird situation. And as far as like the hunger, guys, first day is the hardest. First day of not eating is the hardest. Second day is the second hardest. After about the third day, your body, you just adapt. You don't feel hungry anymore. You end up with a kind of psychological hunger that you'll start like dreaming about food and so on after a while and stuff. But you feel okay. You feel a little bit low energy and stuff. Your thinking is very, very clear. So yeah, it is. And keep in mind, fasting used to be a pretty standard discipline in Christianity. It was normal. And then I think mainly in I'm guessing, because you still hear about like Eastern Christians fasting and so on. And to be fair, there are Christians in the West who still fast a lot, but it's less emphasized, and it's less emphasized as a standard practice in Christianity among evangelical Christians and so on in the West.
You see, David would admit that Christians were actually Muslims, but then they corrupted their religion and now they're not doing it anymore.
You see? Razi says, my girlfriend's parents are communists. Am I cooked? No. Expose communism. Have you heard the theory that Gen Z become anarchists because they can never afford a home loan and will never be able to afford an apartment? That can be kind of the appeal for someone who's pitching communism to them. Hey, you're broke. Look at that guy over there. He's rich. That's not fair. He's rich. Elon Musk, he's rich. It just fell into his lap. It wasn't because he had all these great ideas and put them into practice and worked his butt off for so long and so on. But you sit around doing nothing but whining and throwing tantrums and not going to class and blah, blah, blah. Is it fair that he's a billionaire and you have nothing except your little Islamic garb? Is that fair? No. So support communism, and then we'll all be poor and starving.
Yes.
What am I going to do with all this bacon now? I don't know. Hey, what's this? Reza Aslan, Cenk Uyghur, Suleiman Ahmed behave like jerks and lie all the time just to win in debates instead of finding the truth. These protesters are no different. It is weird. It is weird that religion compels people to think that this is the way to go. But Cenk's not even Muslim, so it's just a Turkish thing for him.
No, he says I'm a Muslim. He says I'm an atheist, but I'm a Muslim. It doesn't make any sense, but that's what he says.
All right, one more video clip, ladies and gentlemen. One more video clip, and this one's on the meaning of life. I'm making a video out of this clip, and there's not really I was making a video out of Piers Morgan's interview with Stephen Meyer. And it was interesting at the very end. Pierce just goes, "So what's the meaning of life?" It's like, hey, that's a rough question, because they've been talking about the existence of God the entire time and various scientific arguments for the existence of God. And then Pierce actually started calling, "What about all the evil? Look at all the stuff that's going on in Israel and Gaza, and you've got this creator of the universe and so on." Pierce acknowledges that he also believes in God and so on. And then in the very end, he just blurts out, "So what's the meaning of life?" And we're going to allow AP
Maybe we should go through that
to
next
this.
time, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can do that. Okay.
Yeah,
Even though it's a short clip and would only take 10 seconds, AP says no. Wait till next time.
I'm too scared as an atheist right now.
Yeah, we're going to play it. And you're not going to dodge us because we want the atheist perspective. We want you to say no. The only point is incest.
Yes.
David Lotar here. Do you donate any of your proceeds from social media to the poor? I know AP doesn't. Zitz Pinkler.
I actually regularly donate things to several organizations.
Yeah, I don't really, not the poor. I support a lot of people who do stuff that I want people doing. So when I see an organization or a person, a ministry that's doing something that I like, I usually sign up for some sort of monthly payment. So it's not like soup kitchens or something. It's like, oh, I like what this guy's doing, so I'll support his work and stuff like that. So love you both. No, AP will be Christian soon, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Powerful. I ate more than 200 verses. Oh, it's Aisha's goat. I ate more than 200 verses from Surah 33. Oh, we got a bunch of the passages here. Yeah, it's over. So keep in mind, when you can read the verse and some of the passages will just talk about like this verse or that verse that was eating. It was actually about 200 verses that were lost from Surah 33. Rough stuff. From Apostate Mommy here, weekly jizya. You guys need to work with J. Warner Wallace since Mo's situation here match his expertise in cold case. I actually pitched it. I wasn't seriously. I was saying, I said you should do cold case Islam because he did a book called Cold Case Christianity. AP, you know him. He's a cold case detective. He was an atheist, became a Christian, and he wrote a book called Cold Case Christianity, which is like he's a cold case detective who investigates Christianity and so on. But I suggested to him, I said, hey, we should do a joke video called Cold Case Islam, where I say I've got a cold case. It's Muhammad's death. And we have to investigate who's responsible. And in the end, we conclude that Allah did it because he's the one who said he was going to do it. And he thought it was a funny idea, but he didn't actually want to do it. But we'll give him a couple years to warm up to the idea.
But why would we trust somebody who was an atheist and became a Christian?
No, we wouldn't. Well, that's the only people you can trust in life, in my experience. Islam's cultural appropriation of Judaism, Christianity too. That's actually funny. We should do something on Islam culturally appropriating everything, not just Judaism, Christianity, paganism as well. Like
Muhammad was literally practicing cultural appropriation.
Yeah, the way they dress, their practices, everything was culturally appropriated.
Yeah.
When Moses split the Red Sea and God barricaded the Romans with the fire, wasn't God interfering with the free will of Romans? What are you talking about? Barricaded the Romans with the fire. What's he talking about? What do you mean barricaded Romans with the fire?
Well, you should know.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Wish these students protested with the same passion for religious minorities, ex-Muslims in the Muslim world which is true oppression and apartheid.
No, that would be bigotry if they'd actually do that, because these cultures, they can do whatever they want, and every culture has to be respected and has to be regarded as a beautiful culture and always appreciated. How dare you even suggest this?
Yeah, if you wanted to call something apartheid, yeah, go to a place like Pakistan or something like that. Nigeria, look at what's going on with the Christians in those places and so on. If you wanted to call something oppression.
I'm sorry, but if you're going to if you're going to talk about oppression, I just have one question to you. Are there Jews involved? Yes or no?
Yep, that is the main question. If the answer is yes, then we're ready to protest. If the answer is no, we do not care. It is irrelevant. Who cares? It's a different culture. Who are we to judge, right?
Yes.
AP,
because Jews are, of course, white people, and they are guilty, therefore.
David, can you explain the deeper meaning of Sunan Abu Dawud 52:24? You got that, AP?
Abu Dawud, what?
Sunan Abu Dawud 52:24, 5224.
52:44.
52:24, you know it.
24. My brain is not working right now.
Is it?
Quoting Usaid bin Hudayr, a man of the Ansar, said that while he was given to jesting and was talking to the people and making them laugh, the Prophet poked him under the ribs with a stick. He said, "Let me take retaliation." He said, "Take retaliation." He said, "You're wearing a shirt, but I am not." The Prophet then raised his shirt down, 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 and the man embraced him and began to kiss his side. Then he said, "This is what I wanted, the messenger of Allah."
So many kisses all over your milky white flesh. Yeah, so the deeper meaning is Muhammad liked being poked and liked poking other people. It says it right there in the passage, liked being smooched all over his milky white flesh. Yeah, and if you want the deeper meaning, go ahead and look at one of the hadiths that took place an hour later, where Aisha would have to get all the semen off Muhammad's clothes. Just like Zakir Naik's channel, we have so many dying to be with us. You want to be the only one missing out? Didn't think so. Goat Hub. Most popular site in Pakistan. Winger lashing at Benny Hinn. He growing a pair? No. You could go after Benny Hinn because you disagree with his teachings. Some people go after Benny Hinn just because they're jealous of his popularity. You know which category Mike Winger falls into. You are not even qualified even to be a mother. I love the just random burn right at the end of what he's talking about.
That was so brutal.
Was recently in the Levantine area and met an ex-Muslim whose father leads prayers at the local masjid. David, your predictions are happening in real life. Yeah.
You can't trust ex-Muslims, man.
No. If you want to prove that he's an ex-Muslim, have him recite all of Surah 2 in Arabic.
Why does the left riot over Palestine but not Ukraine? Yeah, they won't. I mean, there's all sorts of messed up stuff going on in the world at all times. Nothing enrages people like one particular thing, and it just happens to be the one that involves a bunch of Jews.
Well, two factors. Muslims only care about it if it involves Jews, and Muslims also have a very big habit of being very loud and acting like everyone in the world has to care about what they care about, and crying and bullying everyone into also caring about their cause. So when Jews are involved, this naturally riles Muslims up immediately, and when Muslims are riled up, they also bully all these idiots around the world into joining in on their crybaby situation.
Yeah. I mean, I want the best for everyone there, even the people of Gaza. I hope they get as many civilians out of Rafah as possible and so on. But I hope Israel goes in there and gets it over with, gets their hostages back, and crushes what's left of Hamas, and we never hear about Hamas again. And then figure out.
What Palestine? What Palestine? There is no Palestine.
There is not Palestine. It's a made up. It is not existential. Awesome. Your new channel should host Friday night Rumble debates. Your community could participate. Weed out losers on a community page. Topics: best fruit to be fed, grapes versus anything else, best dawa quote, goat or cow. We should do something. We should make a fun channel like that. What do you say to people who point to moderate Islamic countries like Kosovo or Bosnia to say it's peaceful? Guys, we judge Islam based on what its teachings, and we judge its fruit when the fruit are things that come from Islam. That's what I judge Islam on. If someone is the most peaceful person in the world, that's great. You're not getting that from Islam.
And just I don't know, go into the inquiry of how are Kosovo and Bosnia and Albania the way they are because they are following Islam more closely, or are they that way because they are more distant from Islam? I think it's quite obvious. If you understand the culture of Bosnia, if you understand the cultures of the Balkan people, of the Albanian people, I mean, there are these bunch of insider jokes of how drinking is very popular there, but also praying for Muslims and things like that. You will quickly come to the conclusion that these cultures are very detached from Islam, and they are the way they are because they go further and further away from Islam. The closer you get to Islam, the more radical and messed up you become.
That's pretty racist. Yeah. Only one society has ever gained anything from Islam: Saudi Arabia. They get to control billions of people. All others, Egypt, Syria, Iran, Pakistan, became worse compared with their pre-Islamic society. Yet you can say Saudi Arabia has benefited. It benefited a lot from the fact that it was on top of an ocean of oil. But yeah, it's funny if you look at the point of Surah 9, verse 29, in context of Surah 9, verse 28, 9:28 says, hey, you're worried about money, but Allah is going to give you way more money if he wants to. How? Next verse, fight those who do not believe in Allah, make them pay the jizya until they pay the jizya and find themselves subdued. But if you look at that, it's a money-making scheme. But if you look at how it's implemented, after that command, Muhammad goes out to fight against the Romans with the reasoning that if you go and fight and you subjugate them, then you're giving them three options. If they convert to Islam, they're going to pay zakat, so they're paying you. If they refuse to convert, but they accept dhimmi status, then they're paying you zakat. They're still paying you, or they die. So they're paying you, or they die. You win. You're fine with any of those situations. That's what it lays down. And as Islam spreads, guess what? Saudi Arabia is constantly getting money from people taking the pilgrimage and so on. And so it worked. It worked out as a money making scheme. I mean, look at Mecca now compared to what it would have been back then, if it existed back then, beyond like a tiny village. As a money-making scheme, Islam did work pretty successfully, but so did the mafia for a while. I'm arguing with a Muslim friend right now on the Quran. What do I say against the scientific claims of the Quran? They're a joke, so be sure to bring up things like the sun setting in a muddy pool and stars being missiles that God uses to shoot demons, semen being formed between the backbone and the ribs. Two things. One, always look up the passage, read it in context. And two, go to a site, go to Answering Islam, answeringislam.net, answeringislam.net. We've got articles on all this stuff. Just going through the mummy. I mean, what is this? Is this 2002 right now, bringing up the mummy?
The mummy.
Wrong pharaoh. It's not the pharaoh of the Exodus. That's problem one. So not the problem. Two, what the passage actually says, it doesn't say. They always quote it as Allah is going to preserve your body. As if, oh, look, here's a pharaoh's body. See, Allah said he's going to preserve it. It's a miracle. Doesn't say he's going to preserve your body. He says, I'm going to preserve you in your body, meaning you're going to survive. That's going to be the miracle. So one, the miracle is Allah is going to preserve him in his body, not preserve his body. So it's not even what the passage says. Two, wrong pharaoh. They got the wrong guy. Three, the pharaoh that they have, that body belonged to, he did not die getting drowned in the Red Sea. He had massive medical problems. He had severe arthritis, all sorts of medical problems. This guy would not have been marching out into battle. He would have died in bed in horrible pain. So bogus, 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 bogus. All you have to do is get in the habit of looking things up. But guess what? See, when your friend is telling you about that, oh, it's a miracle, Pharaoh. This is a guy who believes some stupid Zakir Naik video from 20 years ago. And he's never had it. He's never thought through this, which is as much as that sucks, you're actually in a good position because you get to be the one to tell him the truth and say, okay, so you said this is the miracle that proves that Islam is true. Okay, well, let's read what the verse actually says. Doesn't say what you claim. Pharaoh, wrong Pharaoh. And that Pharaoh definitely didn't die in the Red Sea. Didn't happen. So why are you saying this? Ball game.
I actually made a video about this, which directly refutes that whole thing.
What's it called? What's it titled?
Yeah.
Toss it
I think
in the
it's
chat.
called
Toss it in the chat.
Pharaoh Miracle Debunked or something like that. I don't know. That's what I think it was called.
Why don't you?
Hey, have you ever thought about that?
Who's better at looking up your own videos than you? You can't even find your own video. Why would we trust anything you say?
I don't know what my channel is called. Hey, have you ever thought about the wordplay of Machiavellian?
Oh, Machiavellian? You do Machiavellian? Machiavellianism?
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
Oh yeah, it's called Quran Miracle Debunked, the Pharaoh's Body.
There you have it. Can you toss a link to that in the chat there?
Yes, I can.
All right, here is your answer, silly guy. Silly guy 45. You got a video here. And again, go to answeringislam.net. Check out the videos there.
And always be very careful about Machiavellian responses that you might get.
Indeed. Great live stream. We can learn a lot from Dr. Dizzle. That's true. And AP sometimes. Islam respects everything from the 7th century, but rejects everything new. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why you have people like Winston Churchill and stuff calling it a retrograde force. That's what a retrograde force is. So you have other things that try to make improvements and make progress. Islam is retrograde in that the core message of Islam is that the creator of the universe wants you to live and breathe and think and eat and go to the bathroom like a 7th century Arab. He's obsessed with it. He's obsessed with everyone in the world living like a 7th century Arab. Well, guess what? If everyone in the world acts like a 7th century Arab, that's a retrograde force. Matthew 7:2. What if you committed a sin that you judge? Well, then you would be, if you're talking about something that you've committed in the past and you've changed, and that you are judging, you're actually in a good position. You're in a good position to say, hey, I've done that too. I turned away from it. Now you turn away from it too. If you're condemning someone for something that you're still doing, then you're a total hypocrite. P.S. Lübeck invented marzipan and the street pylon, a.k.a. the Lübecker Hutchen. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you guys think about Christian Prince? Knows his stuff. Very good at crushing the Muslims who challenge him. Let's see. Palestine is only an experience with falafel sandwich. Guys, that was from the Masab interview. And he goes, and maybe she went and ate a falafel sandwich and her mind was blown by the Palestinian experience. He has a good way of putting things that stick in people's minds, and then they become memes. I will choose the cow. Richard Dawkins says, I am now a messianic atheist, alhamdulillah. Messianic atheist, alhamdulillah. That's a good combo right there. And final super chat right here. A pusillanimous leather grape on Zabiba machine of the cow says, sell shirts with Ali D's face labeled grapist. Oh yeah, and have him like remember that shot where he's like, I want the grapes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, give me the grapes. Nom, 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 nom. And he's nibbling on that grape sack.
Nibbling.
All right, guys. Oh wait.
All right. So all I want to say.
He says thanks. He says thanks. Time to intellectually molest my friend. Yes.
Yes,
do.
and telling
That's how we do
greetings
it.
from molesting me.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. After you completely expose his argument about Pharaoh, you just keep in mind the sort of person you're dealing with. He might be someone who responds well to that. So you got to be like that. So how does it feel? How does it feel being intellectually molested with facts? That'll be impressive to him. More impressive than the facts are.
Are you mentally insane? Are you mentally sick? Have you been intellectually molested?
Why'd you come back as Molestany with your machete right when
Well,
we're closing out?
I just want to tell people, I mean, isn't it very, very simple that all we need to do is just free Palestine? I mean, how hard can it be?
Yeah.
How hard can it be? Just free Palestine.
Yeah, just free it.
Free Palestine.
We don't see why this is so hard. Just free it. Okay?
Just free it, or do you want me to die? Just
It's
free
like-
Palestine.
It's like if I got a bird in a cage over there and I want to free it, I just open the cage. Boom, done. Done.
Just free it.
Ball game. What's so hard about this?
I'm gonna die because of you. Just free it.
Yeah, we have no concept of what consequences are, and therefore just do things. You know what I'm tempted to do? You know what would be really awesome? If all the governments of the world right now said this. They said, okay, we really need you college students to understand that you're stupid and insane and gullible and delusional morons. So what we're going to do is, for the next 6 months, we're going to do every single thing you say. All of us. We're all going to do what you guys say. Whatever you tell us that we're supposed to be doing, we're going to do it. And then after 6 months, the entire world will be in flames, but at least these college students will realize that they're clueless, gullible, delusional morons. That's what it would take. Some people gotta learn the hard way, especially college students who are stupid. All right.
If the Zionist oppressors didn't impose apartheid upon the people of Palestine, it would be right now, the Center for Freedom and Human Rights and non-binary people.
It would be the LGBTQ capital of the universe.
The
if it weren't for the Jews.
LGBTQ plus capital of all the universes that you can ever even see and hear of. So just free Palestine. Are you stupid? Just free Palestine. Think about the gender neutral people.
That is a powerful point to end this live stream on. AP, we still have like 15 major topics that have come up in the past week or two. We might need to go live on your channel again tomorrow to cover some of them. Just keep that up.
Yeah.
Just keep that up. So check out your schedule. We've got work to do. It is difficult, people. It is difficult. We need help from everyone. Everyone has to be putting out the word. Everyone has to be responding to the stupidity in the world. We need millions of people because the stupidity is coming from every direction. So, I'll say it again. Learn something important. Learn it well. You don't have to learn everything. Learn an important thing. Learn an important hadith. Learn an important Quran verse. Learn an important Bible verse. Learn something and share it all over the place. You get 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 or 1,000,000 people all sharing 1 or 2 or 3 important things that changes the trajectory. It changes the trajectory. So let's get it done. We have, since it's Mother's Day, let us be your mommy. What creepy stuff, man. This is what happens when people come over from AP's channel, Goat Hub, the most popular site in Pakistan forever. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We will catch you all next time. Thanks for joining us. And we'll once again close out with a beautiful song.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free
pedophiles! Free pedophiles! Free pedophiles! Free pedophiles! Free pedophiles!
No.